Scotland's a wild and lovely place.
But there's a change we must embrace.
Scotland's water's world class.
No doubt.
So, take a refillable bottle.
When you go out.
It's your water, your life.
Top up from the tap with Scottish water.
Fresh, cool, clear.
And only available right here.
Good morning everyone and welcome to Tollcross International Swimming Centre for our third day of our Scottish National Age Group Championships. This is session 7. I'm Robert Taylor. With me this morning, Duncan McKinnell, who was with you yesterday. Good morning, Duncan. Nice to have us back at the International Swimming Centre for our third day of Scottish National Age Groups.
Yes, good morning, Robert. It was a great day of finals last night, a second great day of finals, some real thrillers and then some dominant performances as well. So a bit of a mixture of that. We also had a bit of an incident with our starting equipment at the scoreboard end, so hopefully we won't have that today. There's the lineup for you. It's a busy lineup once again. It's going to be quite a long session, about 3.5 hours, I think. So we start off with boys 200 backstroke. Girls 400 free. Then the sprints today is freestyle, both boys and girls, and 100 breaststroke for the boys, 200 fly. Then a 1500 free. I know you love your distance swimming, and we finish off with a 4x100 freestyle relay. So that's what we have in front of us. What catches your eye in that lot, Robert?
Well, I would hope that we can get underway pretty well with the 50s. And we don't have any major hiccups. Looking forward to seeing Catherine Bailey in the last heat of the 400 free. That was a cracking swim she had last night, just finishing extremely strongly to hold off that late challenge from Drew Mackenzie. I thought that was a cracking race, Duncan.
Yes, it was indeed, yeah. I thought that Drew Mackenzie was also entered in that 400 free, but I don't see her on the start sheet, so she's maybe withdrawn. So looking for maybe a rematch on that one. In fact, that might be in the 200 fly. In fact, that will be coming up later on, where both of them are in as well. We've got Andrew Bertoli, who's been so consistent across the different strokes. I don't think there's anything that boy can't do.
We commented last night, I think he did a 2:03:01 to go out on the 400 free and came back on, I think, a 2:01:35. So you actually negative split. Most unusual to do that in a 400.
Yeah, but we're straight away off and into it. This is the first heat of the 200 backstroke. The lineup here: Fabio Farina of Warrender in 0, Benji Jeffries of South Ayrshire in 1, Rowan Geary of Step Rock in 2, Roddy Heron, South Aberdeenshire in 3, Dylan McShane of North Lanarkshire in 4, Michael Skeckel of Inverleith in 5, Calder Murphy of Carnegie in 6, Adam Thompson of Kilmarnock in 7, Harry Keogh for N96 in 8, and Irvin Ward, Aberdeen Performance in lane 9. 4 lengths of the pool, 200 backstroke. Good start in lane 5, Michael Skeckel, the Inverleith swimmer, Edinburgh based of course. Looks like, is he going to turn first? No, maybe it's lane 8.
Maybe lane 8, Duncan.
Yep, Harry Keogh by 400s, 33.80 against Michael's 33.84.
Also nice to see the captions coming up on the screen, showing the splits of each 50, so we can actually see if they're picking up the pace throughout, Duncan. It's an added feature that we've got.
Yeah, excellent. They will, you'd think, be slower in the second 50 because of the benefit of the push-off at the beginning. But the third 50 is always critical. That's where you've really got to keep the momentum going. So 38.09 for Harry Keogh for his second 50. So keep a note on that and just get a feel for how that compares with his third 50. You can see Fabio going 38.0 as well. He's in lane 0, right up at the top. I was commentating with Lynn Alton yesterday. We were gunning for or I was anyway, gunning for a lane 0 victory. Never quite happened. There were a few near misses, but maybe we'll get one today.
A few lane 9s, Duncan, but not 0s. You're absolutely right. Still Harry going well.
So remember 38.0 for his second, 38.6. So he's holding his pace pretty well. He's up by a second now from Michael Skeckel.
This is where they should just pick it up that little bit stronger down the final stretch, Duncan.
Certainly the two of them look set for 1 and 2 now. Harry in lane 8. Entry time for him 2:33.6. Should be inside that. And Michael Skeckel entered on 2:32.8. He'll be hopefully inside that as well. So that's a nice opener for us from Harry and Michael, both comfortably inside their entry times, getting us off to a good start. So well done, gentlemen. Adam Thompson taking third place, the Kilmarnock swimmer, in 2:33.30. He's pretty much spot on his entry time. So, good start, Robert.
It is always nice to get a few seconds inside your entry time to kick off. And, good swim from both Harry and Michael in that one, Duncan. Because a lot of these times for the national age groups are short course conversions. A lot of them won't maybe have had much opportunity to swim in a 50-metre pool this last 6-9 months.
Yes, the West had their pre-stags meet, didn't they? And the North had their age groups, which was long course up in the Aberdeen Sports Village. East, not so much. They had the 100s and the 200 IM long course in the Commonwealth pool, but everything else for them was short course. And of course, we've also got some swimmers from south of the border. They'll have had county championships, and that'll be a mixture, depending on the facilities in the county, of long and short course. Yes, it's they might have had one go at it. That's probably it. Yeah.
Unless they're maybe going also down to Sunderland. I know one or two of our clubs have gone down there a month or so back to maybe get an opportunity swimming long course when maybe at West Districts they've not had that opportunity when they've been swimming short course. So on to our second heat. We have in 0 Richard Laws from Coupon District, 1 Adam Hill, Stirling Swim, 2 Rory Hall, O'Gan Bearsden, 3 Fraser McLaughlin from Elgin, 4 Jamie Gilchrist, South Lanarkshire, 5 Bailey Urquhart, Highland Swim Team, 6 Jamie Glenn, North Lanarkshire, 7 Ewan Mitchell, South Lanarkshire, 8 Stuart Pritchard, Kinross, and 9 Logan Ward, Glenrothes. 32.64, just a little bit faster, a second or so than the previous heat. The entries in this one, Duncan, 2:30 through to 2:32.
Yeah, that's a great start from Jamie Glenn. He's really pushed it hard. His time came from the West District pre-stags meet that we were talking about in this pool, but certainly showing his intent early on here. We'll wonder whether he'll pay for that in the second half. Let's hope not. But here he comes in. Nice shot of him coming to the wall. Get close-up view of his turn. Through he goes in 1:09.91.
And certainly took a good second advantage over Ewan Mitchell. Richard Laws sub-38 in that one, but he's got a commanding advantage with 75 to go.
Yeah, so again, 37.3 there for his second 50. So we'll see whether he can maintain that or close to that pace in this third 50. Going nicely up at the top of your screen, Richard Laws of Cooper. Cooper, a fast developing club up in North East Fife. Really starting to show a lot of promising swimmers coming through there. But Jamie, 38.9. So the pace has dropped a bit, but still comfortably ahead, 3.5 seconds. He's not going to lose that down the final length.
Pace for the other boys even slower at 39. So, as you say, Duncan, 4 or 5 metres clear. Over on the far side, Cooper swimmer Richard Laws is looks as though he's holding on pretty well for second place. We might get a lane 0 winning after a fourth and a second in the next one. We'll keep our fingers crossed, but comfortable swim, nice swim from Jamie. Comes inside that 2:30.76 by best part of 3.5 seconds, 2:27.07. Richard Laws from Coupon District, 2:30.48 in third. Rory Hall, 2:31.33.
Yeah, I'd be very happy with that. I would think 2:27 up from 2:30.8. and that was just done 3 weeks ago. So certainly the snags does get them going, doesn't it? Just that, obviously they'll have rested for this. All but, I suppose, highest quality swimmers who were in Sheffield last week, and they, of course, had the issue of managing 2 meets in quick succession. But for the bulk of these swimmers, this is an important meet in the season. They will have rested for it. So you'd expect, I guess, for them to make some progression from their entry times. But it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to do it. So heat 3, ready to go. Rowan Brown of Elgin in 1, Alex Thompson of Bucky in 2, Fraser Stewart of Stetrock in 3. 4 is Cole Morrison. Oh, Evan Boyd, I missed him out, lane 3. Sorry, Evan. Kilmarnock swimmer. Cole Morrison of Stirling Swim in 4. Lewis Austin of Highland in 5. David Landman of City of Glasgow in 6. Then 2 South Ayrshire swimmers. David Traynor in 7. Lewis McCarroll in 8. And Archie Smith completes the field for Aberdeen Dolphin in lane 9.
Lewis Austin got a nice start, Duncan, in lane 5.
Yep, that's Lewis Austin, the Highland swimmer, 33.10. A little bit slower than Jamie Glenn's first 50 split from the previous heat, but nice comfortable start for him. Looks like maybe this is going to be a tighter contest. We've seen 2 pretty emphatic wins so far in the 2 heats we've got. Lewis starting to open up the gap though.
Again, most of the entry times finishing point something 0, so probably short course to long course conversion. So get anywhere near that that time for entry, and you've had a good swim. Lewis Austin, 36.78. Just takes a little bit more out of the field, 109.89.
Yes, so he definitely is starting to move up. So it's a slightly different tactic here of sort of building through the race, and that seems to be working well for Lewis. From the Highland, of course, the Highland swim team made up with clubs covering a vast area of the north of Scotland, from Inverness right up to the north coast, and Wick. So they have their challenges to keep the team working together. But we're now faster than the previous heat by around 9/10. Lewis over 3 seconds clear. So said it wasn't going to be an emphatic win. I was completely wrong.
Certainly picking the pace up quite strongly in the final 25 metres. That's what you hope for. Hopefully finishing around 37 seconds for the last 50. We'll keep an eye on that split when he hits the wall.
Good scrambled race for second though. There's a number of swimmers in the hunt for that.
There's a Stewart perhaps from Step Rock. Very strong finish, 36.02 Duncan, and even faster finish for Fraser Stewart, 34.77 from Step Rock, coming through extremely strongly to take second.
Yeah, good last 50 from Fraser there. You wonder whether maybe he had just left a bit too much in the tank there, and perhaps if he'd been a wee bit faster earlier on, perhaps he might have been closer to Lewis, but well, I can't really criticise him. He finished very strongly and got himself a good time. Just waiting for confirmation of the result. Here it is now. I always worry slightly when there's that bit of a delay for them bringing up the confirmed result, but no problems there. Lewis taking the win, 2:23.93. Line up for Heat 4, Oliver Cairns, North Lanarkshire in 0. Oliver Payton of Inverclyde in 1. Bailey McGinley of First in 2. Jack MacDonald of Putteridge in 3. Jack Doherty Simpson of Scotia in 4. Dan Hall goes for Aberdeen Performance in 5. Sam Curry of Perth City in 6. Nathan Wilson of Carnegie in 7. Robbie Boyd of Warrender in 8. Taylor Sinclair of Elgin in lane 9. 2:25 to 2:28 is the times here.
Well, so far we've seen sort of swimmer go out very strongly and dominate. The fourth heat is fairly level after the first 25. Almost 3 red caps in a row here. In fact, it's actually an orange cap. Putteridge down near Luton. Jack MacDonald in lane 3. Lane 6 with the advantage at the moment. Perth City's Sam Curry. Hopefully it's Sam Curry. 32.42. That is the fastest split so far, but few not far behind Jack McDonald, 32.71. There's two first and second, and the green cap of Scotia, Jack Docherty-Simpson, alongside Dan Hall, Aberdeen Performance, and Robbie Boyd in lane 8 from Wanderbass, not that far behind. So again, one swimmer seems to be dominating these early heats.
Interestingly, it's never been lanes 4 or 5 as well,
Yep.
so the swimmers further down the rankings in each heat really starting to show their stuff. And Sam Curry, 108.66, so a nice second 50 from him.
So still maintaining a nice healthy advantage, and if anything pulling away from most of the field. Jack Docherty-Simpson looking best of the rest at the moment, and certainly closing a little bit. We'll see if Sam can keep this going.
Must have heard my comment about lane 4 and decided, right, I'll show you. He definitely is closing.
38.70. Well, Jack Docherty-Simpson took over a second out of that. 147.36, about a second and a half in it now.
So this could get tight. Third place, lane 5, Dan Hall, also trying to make a move, along with lane 8, Robbie Boyd. I call this, Robert.
Well, it's still Sam Curry. I think he's going to be overhauled in the final 10 metres from Jack Docherty-Simpson. It's tightening up. He's pulling a little bit extra out at this business end. Isn't going to be much in it. Sam and in lane 8, third place, Robbie Boyd. It was Sam who just took that from Jack Docherty-Simpson. Robbie Boyd, the fast finishing third place, 35.72 from virtually nowhere to snatch the third place.
Sam Curry did well there, because with 10 to 15 metres to go, it looked like he was going to be overtaken. He just found that extra bit of pace in those last few metres, didn't he?
Yeah.
So well done, Sam, holding on for take the win, 226.67. Jack Docherty-Simpson second, Robbie Boyd third, just by 700ths from Dan Hall, who's also finishing strongly.
Interesting, most of these swimmers virtually on their entry time are just a second over it, so probably swimming pretty steadily. Most of these lads probably entry times from a short course conversion, so good performance all round from the vast majority in that race. Onto onto heat number 5 in 0, Lewis Young from Dumfries. 1, Arno Drysdale, Wanderbass. 2, Struan McFarlane, Stirling Swim. 3, Alex Scott, Dumfries. 4, Jonah Turnbull, Midlothian. 5, Lucas Johnson, Aberdeen for Performance. 6, Tom Armitage, Highland Swim Team. 7, Andrew Smitten from South Aberdeenshire. 8, Adam Ritchie, Wanderbass. And 9, Adam Curry, North Ayrshire. Times in this one, 2:22 to 2:24. Still no showing from lane 0, Duncan.
Early days yet. Lane 2, Struan McFarlane, maybe is the one making.
Looks that way at the moment. Also well there, Alex Scott. Well, it is lane 0. Apparently turning first. I wouldn't have called that one, Duncan.
So Lewis Young there, the Dumfries swimmer. Doesn't look like he's got the lead now, though. As we come through halfway, sometimes the camera angle just gives you a slightly misleading view about what's going on. And when we look down actually to the venue, you can see a slightly different story. And certainly lane 0 is going nicely, Lewis Young, with the white cap, and I think he's just about edging it at the halfway mark. I'm getting excited here for lane 1, lane 0.
Well, he's got a third of a second advantage over Mano Drysdale. Still well there, Alex Scott, the other Dumfries swimmer, in lane 3. But, I think we might get a little bit more excited pulling away Lewis Young at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see how he goes. He's still got, 60 metres to go. And they're lining up in the centre lanes now. Alex in the white cap, lane 3. Jonah in the green of Midlothian in 4. And Lucas Aberdeen Performance in lane 5. And still Lewis Young by 2 seconds. It's looking good for him.
It's a strong last 50, 36.05, much faster than everyone else. And I think it's all done. I think you've got your wish at last, Duncan.
Yep, had to wait 2 days for it, but it's coming true this morning. And thank you to Lewis Young, who's really driving this on now in this final length. So he's going to take this comfortably, entered on 2:23.83. Look at that, 2:19.84. Nicely done, Lewis. Jonah Turnbull taking second. Lucas Johnson in third, just ahead of Tom Armitage, Manu Drysdale. But Lewis Young, outside smoker from lane 0, takes the win.
Lane 9 maybe in this one, Duncan. Hope for another outside lane on our side of the pool.
Yeah, we've had a run of lane 9s in the first couple of days with taking wins, but haven't had them for a while, so let's see. Of course, lane 9 technically is the slowest swimmer on seeded times in each of these heats. So there's confirmation of that result. Lewis Young, Jonah Turnbull and Lucas Johnson. The 1, 2, 3.
Swimmers for Heat 6, 0, Lex Garrett, South Ayrshire. 1, Tom Ingalls from City of Glasgow. 2, Edward Bell from Seagulls. 3, Ewan Beattie, Launder Baths. 4, Jack Simpson, South Lanarkshire. 5, Kyle Muirhead, West Lothian. 6, Logan Jackson, Aberdeen Performance. 7, Joe Carter, Delting. 8 is Blair McKean, North Lanarkshire Swim Team. And 9, Robbie Carlyle, also from North Lanarkshire Swim Team.
2:19s to 2:21s the entry times here, so 2:19.84 fastest so far from Lewis.
This is where we get into the slightly older swimmers, 15 to 18 for this morning, top 10 in each age group, 15, 16 and joint 17, 18-year-old qualify for the finals this evening with 2 reserves. And, this is going a little bit more to form. Middle lanes, Jack Simpson, Ewan Beattie, 31.29, half a second roughly in it.
So we're going to see our first lane 4 victory of the morning. Don't usually have to wait till heat 6 for that. It's looking good at the moment for Jack Simpson, South Lanarkshire. Youth Academy member, second in the West District Pre-Stags meet in his age group. Reminder that you can keep tabs of all the results on Meet Mobile and also on Swim Scotland. That's www.swimscotland.org.uk. So, and that will keep you track of who's made finals and who's just missed out. So if you have that on one of your electronic devices while you're watching this on the big screen, that seems like the way to go.
Jack's still going well, Duncan, but there's still the threat of the wonder swimmer Ewan Beattie just on his shoulder. Was to just pulled away a little bit from Edward Bell.
So we've had one tight contest so far, and this looks like it's going to be the second one. There's 3/10 in it, and Ewan Beattie got the better turn there.
Did indeed. And the wonder swimmer's just gone past Jack Simpson now.
So let's go past that halfway markers, that long red strip. She indicates halfway down the long course pool, and then the small red bit 15 metres out. And it is going to be Ewan Beattie. He's really timed that very nicely. Good tight contest for second. Who's going to get that? Might be lane 2. So we're still waiting for our lane 4 victory. And Ewan Beattie, 2:20.04. Just away from his entry time. As you said, it ends in a 0, so probably a short course conversion. The 200s in the east were swum short course.
So these times just a little bit slower than their actual entry time, so probably swimming very, very much what we would have expected from the short course to long course conversion. Other than the earlier heats, we've not seen a substantial drop in the times. But we move on to the seeded heats now. I was Complimented getting the surname correct the other night. Liam Gorzinski from Monifief goes in 0. Welcome everyone from Monifief. Hope you're enjoying the live stream this morning. 1 is Ethan Stewart from South Lanarkshire. 2, Kyle Mitchell from Geary. 3, Jacob Wood, Elgin. 4, Robert Burgess, City of Glasgow. 5, William Storer, South Aberdeenshire. 6, Finlay Davis, Midlothian. 7, Cameron Dorn, North Lanarkshire Swim Team. 8, Brody Gordon Gibson, Warner Baths. And 9, Sean Sy Griffiths, Warner Baths. Well, this is where we should get the action in the middle lanes here, Duncan. The fastest qualifiers for Burgess, William Storer. Is the blue cap of City of Glasgow, Robert Burgess, just with that slight advantage. 1:10.91 entry time. Slowest entry time 2:19.50. We should get the arrow formation if it all goes to seed. 29.76 for Robert at the first turn.
Yeah, probably Robert's best event winner in the pre-stags meet. That's where he did his 2:10 entry time. So a B finalist in the McCullough meet over in Bangor in February. 3rd last year in the Festival of Swimming, and he's starting to impose his authority on this. He's up by a couple of meters from Jacob Wood and William Storer. 03.87. So again, keep a tab on that second split, 34.11. See if he can hold that pace in this third length. Certainly moving away now from the 2 either side of him.
I don't see lane 0, Liam Gorzinski, coming through strong enough to take this one, Duncan, so I know you'll be a little bit disappointed, but good luck to Liam. Robert Burgess well cleared out, 1:36.91, 33 at that one, so every chance he may come inside that entry time of 2:10.91.
Yeah, that was a good third 50. He actually accelerated his pace, and of course makes coaches' dreams come true when you negative split a 200, particularly in the 200 backstroke. You've got the opportunity to do that. And certainly Robert is taking this pretty hard. He'll be assured of a good lane in the 17-18 years final. But let's see what that time is. And you are spot on, Robert, predicting that improvement on his entry time. He was about half a second inside it. 2:10.46. So very nice stuff from Mr. Burgess. He'll be pretty happy with that, I would think. William Storer just getting second place. Nice finish from Cameron Doran to come through to take third there, 2:20.65.
I think Jacob Wood might have ended up 4th, but I'm sure Jacob might have just been doing enough to qualify. When you're in these sort of lanes 3 to 6, you maybe psychologically think, let's just ease off a little bit. We should still be good enough to get in there, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. They miss out and finish 11th.
Yeah, you were talking about Liam Gorzinski in lane 0 there. It's a 15-year-old, so he's got every chance of progressing through. So the only 15-year-old in that heat.
I think it's just a shade over 2:20, entry time of 2:19, so very much on swimming to a short course conversion time. So good swim from Liam. I'm sure he'll be back this evening.
So into heat 8, we've got Fraser Claxton of Hearts in lane 0, Luke Porteous of East Lothian in 1, Angus Johnson, City of Glasgow in 2, Travis Davey of Dundee City Aquatics in 3, Lucas Brown of Elgin in 4, Kieran Breckenser of Aberdeen Dolphin in 5, Calvin McDonald of Aberdeen Performance in 6, Callum Dunn, South Ayrshire in 7, Adam Scott of Ren 96 in 8, and Ryan Broadley of the Broch in lane 9.
This is where we've missed snags for the last 3 years, Duncan. Lucas Brown from Elgin's real talent a few years back, and it's still great to see him performing at such a high level.
Yeah, he goes in the 16-year-old age group and has a relatively narrow advantage at the moment from the Dundee-based swimmer Travis Davey, and Angus Johnson also going well in lane 2. They're both in the 17-18 age group. seems amazing, isn't it, that Lucas in the 16 age group, last time he was at Snags, he was in the youngest age
Yes,
group, 11
indeed.
to 13.
11 to 13. The thing is, Andy Summers, the coach at Elgin, always seems to manage to pick a few pearls every so often that come out, and he just keeps doing this every year, every second year. Someone just appears from Elgin. It's nice to see that some of our smaller clubs continuing to produce some cracking swimmers.
North District age group champion Lucas, and he is about half a second faster in that third 50 than anybody else, so he's now got a lead of a second. Angus Johnson's gone past Travis Davey into second. So
you can see even in this race that Lucas doesn't seem to be working too hard. Entry time very similar to the previous one, Robert Burgess. He's probably going to come in around about the 2:13, 2:14 mark perhaps. Still fairly comfortable, Duncan.
yeah, just a little acceleration into the wall there, but 2:15.22 his time, and as you say, Robert, I think there's more to come there in the 16-year-old final. He'll be the favourite for that, I would think. One more heat to go. We talked about Andrew Bertoli.
Oh, we did, yeah. Yeah, he had some cracking swims the last couple of days. You know, a new name for us, Duncan.
Well, not so new. He's really been making an impact in the last, well, since lockdown really. He's a member of the Scottish junior team, and he's at Ellesmere College now at City of Leicester, but during lockdown he trained in Glasgow, and that's where why he's carrying their colours here this week. Next to him, Callum Peebles, a couple of bronze medals in the 16-year-old age group. He might fancy his chances of having a go at Lucas Brown in the final tonight, assuming he gets there, of course. We can't call that just yet. There's the full lineup. Keane Smith, North Lanarkshire, Owen Williamson of East Lothian, Andrew Brodie of Aberdeen Dolphin, Nathan Campbell of Stirling Swim, Andrew Bertoli, City of Glasgow, Callum Peebles of East Lothian, Alex Thompson of Warrender, Ewan Houston of Ren 96, Greer van der Merlen of Stirling Swim, Robbie Thompson of Shetland. Andrew Bertoli, so versatile across the different events. So we'll see what he can do here in this 200 backstroke. He was a finalist in the Scottish Winter Meet in the Commonwealth Pool in December. Of course, that was short course, but that was an open meet up against the top swimmers in Scotland. Good start from Ewan Houston in lane 7, taking the lead, the Wren swimmer.
So Ewan Houston with a slight advantage, maybe half a metre. Going pretty well, Duncan, in lane 7.
Yeah,
hope he can
my
keep this
guess.
pace going.
We saw yesterday Andrew Bertoli taking it pretty comfortably in the first half of his races, and then as soon as he got through his turn, then he started to motor. So we'll see whether he does that here. Currently in second place, nearly a second behind Ewan. Let's see if he starts to open it up. And I think we are seeing that. Also going well in lane 1, Owen Williamson, the East Lothian swimmer. One of his better events as well. But Bertoli just easing. I don't think he's really forcing it quite as much as I thought he might in this third 50, but has he got the lead? No, not quite. Or has he? Let's see. 300ths in it with 50 to go. But I think he'll get the job done down this last length. Callum Peebles now into third place as Williamson just fading in lane 1. So here he comes. He's left it a little bit later this time to really impose himself on the heat, Andrew Bertoli, but he's doing it nonetheless. And into the final 5. Pretty close for second now as Bertoli comes in 2:12.88. Houston and Campbell second and third. Callum Peebles in 4th. So I think it'll be a good contest between Robert Burgess and Andrew Bertoli in that 200 backstroke 17-18 final. Robert Burgess is going to be the fastest.
Indeed, although as we saw, Andrew Bertoli looked very, very easy in that heat compared to Robert. Robert was giving it a little bit more.
So I look forward to that one tonight. Don't forget to join us as we get going this evening. There's going to be lots of excellent swimming as we scroll through. Of course, that will get sorted into the 3 age groups to determine the top 10. As I said, you'll be able to see that on Meet Mobile and on Swim Scotland, so you'll know exactly who's progressing through to finals. So a good way to start proceedings here at Tollcross for day 3. We go from 200s to 400s now as we go to first appearance of the girls, 400 freestyle. We had the 400 IM for the girls yesterday, so now they're doing 400 free. And we've got 8 heats to come in this.
And like the younger girls, the older girls and the older boys on a 400 get to swim twice. So again, this is heats and finals for this evening.
Yes, we've talked about that before, haven't we, around the challenge of swimming these longer races twice in a day. And particularly for the 15-year-olds, remember 3 years ago they were 12. You don't do it in district level to swim heats and finals in the 400. So this is new territory in the 400 free and 400 IM to swim it twice in a day for many of these swimmers.
And again, if you're entered for this and you're maybe 4th or 5th, then you could possibly go out that little bit slower and not worry too much. Do a reasonable time and you're probably pretty comfortable getting into a final. Whereas if you're 10th, 11th, 9th, 8th, you've really got to go out fairly strong to get into a final. So you might take that little bit extra. So the advantage is probably with the top half a dozen swimmers in each of these age categories for the morning heats. Doesn't always work out that way, Duncan, but that's generally what happens.
Yeah, and it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you don't want to swim slow deliberately, because if you swim slow, you'll swim badly. And so sometimes I think the advice from coaches is continue to push it, even if you're confident that you are going to progress through. Just keep pushing it in the heat. You've got plenty of time, really, to recover. They're young, and they recover pretty quickly. So between now and the evening finals, just don't worry about it. Don't stress about the fact that you're swimming it twice. Just give it your best shot in the morning and give it an even better best shot in the evening. So we haven't mentioned who these 3 swimmers are.
We haven't yet. Those 3 in lane 3, Eden Fraser from Aberdeen Performance, that's the white cap. The blue cap, City Glasgow's Thea Glenn. And in lane number 5 from Lerwick, we have Kaelin Robinson. Swimmers' entry times are just over the 3-minute mark, just over the 5-minute mark, 5:02 through to 5:03. Quite a nice race on our hands at this early stage, coming down towards the halfway mark. Eden Fraser, Aberdeen Performance, maybe half a metre or so clear from Thea Glenn, City Glasgow. Those 3 girls are all 15. So halfway, 2:27.42. Thea Glenn, roughly second for the back, 2:28.39. Pacing there, bang on 77 seconds, Duncan, from that last 100.
It's a good contest here, isn't it? Eden and Thea. Eden just edging it at the moment, but certainly Thea still right there. Kaelin's got a bit of work to do to try and get back to them. I wouldn't discount her. We'll get an idea of the 3 splits there. So 38.92 for both Eden and Thea, absolutely identical. And Kaelin now actually slightly faster, so she is starting to try and bring herself back to the 2 in front of her.
3 seconds to make up at the moment. She might be closing slightly. The legs now getting to work for Thea. Maybe feels a little bit under pressure. Eden Fraser going the better.
As we saw yesterday, some comebacks that looked to be impossible, but then suddenly they happen. I'm thinking maybe of Kirsty Neal in the 200 breaststroke yesterday. That was just an amazing comeback. And there were a few like that, but let's see. Eden Fraser certainly picked up the pace there in that 650, 38.7. So that was the fastest of the three on that length of the pool.
She's swimming very much on the entry time of 5:03.30, Duncan. And if she achieves that or better, it's a very good swim from Eden. Again, all these, I'm pretty sure, are short course conversions to long course. Maybe the first chance they've had to swim a 50-metre 400 for some time.
So it looks like Eden now has this well in hand. Kaylin still making a little bit of progress to try and catch Thayer. Will she catch her? Maybe not, but she's certainly getting close. But she's not going to get close to Eden. The Aberdeen performance swimmer is going to take this 5:03 entry time. I think with this pickup in pace that we've seen, she can get under that.
She does indeed.
5:01.16, nicely done. Well managed swim there from Eden. Thayer did hold on second, and Kaylin not far behind in third.
I think all three girls will be pretty happy with that, Duncan. They swam pretty steady throughout. And we're a million miles off that entry time. So we move on to the second heat. In 0, Gemma Brown from Carnegie. 1, Taylor Smith from St Thomas. 2, Cassie Wiper, City of Glasgow. 3, Jessica Powell, Elgin. 4, Zara Innes from Carnegie. 5, Naomi Wilson, Warner Bath. 6, Ellie Craig Collins, Warner Bath. 7, Isabel Unuk from Tynemouth. 8, Simone Finlayson, Dundee City Aquatics. And in 9, Ellen McPhee, Fauldhouse Penguins. Can we get a lane 9 in this one? At least we've got a lane 9 and we've got a lane 0, Duncan.
Yep, Gemma Brown going nicely in 0 here, but also going well in 6. Ellie Craig Collins of Warrender. I think she'll lead them through the first turn. 31.02. Already up by over a second. And then is lane 9 in second, lane 0 in third. 32.35, 32.83. Ellie Craig Collins is the one who is setting the early pace for 58.6 entry time for her. So the times here straddling the 5 minutes, and I'm sure all 10 swimmers would like to have a finish time starting with a 4.
3 swimmers just pulling away, and then the rest almost in a line behind. Ellie Craig Collins 106.28 after the first 100. Gone out very strongly, Duncan.
Yes, she has. She's certainly setting her stall out well. The challenge, obviously, is to get that pacing right. If you go out too fast, then you'll pay for it later on. But hopefully this is the time that she's agreed with her coach, the pace that she can maintain and then build on in the second half of the race.
And just on the caption there, you would see the coaches, the red of Warren and the red of Fauldhouse Penguins. Will come into shot there. Down there encouraging the 2 swimmers. Ellie Craig Collins has gone off very, very strongly and maintaining that advantage, Duncan.
Yep, lane 9, Ellen McPhee is the Fauldhouse swimmer that they are encouraging, and she is going pretty well. She's had a bit of a difficult period. She was at City Glasgow, went back, I think, probably to her home programme at Fauldhouse, and maybe taken a little while to get back in the rhythm, but it looks like she is now, and that's pacing a bit faster than Ellie on that 4th 50. So Does look like it is these two. Third place in lane 3, Jessica Powell. So we talked about Elgin earlier on. There's another Elgin swimmer going nicely. And then behind her in 5, another Warrender swimmer, Naomi Wilson. But it's her teammate, Ellie, who continues to lead the way. 37.1 that time. This time a bit faster than Ellen McPhee, so building her lead to 3.5 seconds or so now.
At the moment it looks pretty certain Ellie Collins is going to take this, Duncan. I know Ella McPhee still has another 120 to go, but it's going to be something rather special. Still going well in second place though. Quite a good race for third, Duncan. Naomi Wilson and Jessica Powell.
Yep, so 38.4 for Ellie. So her pace is dropping a little bit. Ellie McPhee 4/10 faster there. 3:36.02 is 9 seconds faster than the first heat at the 300 mark. And yeah, I'm sure you're right. Ellie Craig Collins looking good for that. The coach there giving the signals. I'm not sure how much of that Ellie saw. We're just looking at her breathing, looks to be mainly to her right. Maybe she did snatch an odd one to her left, not sure. But certainly not at the moment. So final turn for her, 4:14.50. And Ellen McPhee 4:18.28. So over 3.5 seconds the gap still. So this is going to be a good win for Ellie. Ellie and Ellen, 1 and 2.
Well, Ellen just need to keep this going to ensure second place. Naomi Wilson looks as though she's bagged third place quite comfortably now.
Ellie Craig Collins probably hurting a bit at this stage. Ellen McPhee has made a bit of ground in that last length, but was never going to catch her. And 4:52.39. for Ellie, Ellen McPhee 4:45.30. So they'll both, I think, be very happy with those times. Naomi Wilson taking third, also inside her entry time, 4:57.70. So top 4 getting sub 5-minute times.
Let's wait for that result to be confirmed on your screen. There we have it now. And, that'll be quite encouraging, I'm sure, for Ellen McPhee in an outside lane, finishing in second place and taking about 6 seconds off that entry time. As we move on to heat number 3, in 0, Ella McDonald from Geary. 1, Amy Fotheringham, North Lanarkshire. 2, Erin Curry from Ivan. 3, Maria Cochrane, City of Glasgow. 4, Zoe Crawford from First. 5, Ellie Chalmers, Ivan. 6, Libby Doubleday, City of Glasgow. 7, Caitlin Heaney, East Lothian. 8, Kerry Sinnott, North Lanarkshire. And 9, Alex Coy from Warder Baths.
4:56s and 4:57s the entry times here. So on paper, this should be a pretty tight one. 2 centre lanes, just edging it as they come down to the first turn. Zoe in 4, Ella in 5. So who gets the touch? It's Zoe. Only by 200s, 32.55, Ella 32.57, Ayla Cochrane right there as well, and Alex Coy, Caitlin Heaney, well, most of them really.
Oh yeah, Cochrane, City of Glasgow. Just maybe half a metre clear of Zoe Crawford, swimmer from First. Every chance these swimmers might get it under the 4:50 mark. I'm sure that's the target for a lot of them here.
Setting off slower than Ellie Craig Collins, 109 against her 106. So potentially maybe this is a different strategy of one of steady early and build. Ellie Craig Collins certainly attacked it pretty aggressively in the first half of the race. So, but Ayla starting to dominate this race, and well, really a whole line of them, aren't there, Robert, behind her?
Yeah, we've got about 6 or 7 swimmers all there ready to pounce.
they're going to have to pounce from a fair way back, because 2.5 seconds now the gap between Ayla and Libby Doubleday just edges that second spot.
Alex Coy outside lane from Wander, still going quite nicely. Coming through is Erin Curry from Eithin in lane 2. As you say, someone's got to pounce fairly soon as we reach the halfway mark. We'll see if Alia Cochrane can keep this strong pace going. It was just over 36 seconds, that last split. 37.41, it's dropped down a little bit, but it's still much faster split than everyone else. They've swam a little bit slower than that, 2:22. So, as you say, Duncan, a little bit slower than Ellie Kate Collins in the previous heat, a couple of two and a bit seconds slower.
Well, they were 3 seconds slower at the 100, 2 seconds slower at the 200. So I think that by the time we're done, they might be on a pretty similar time to Ellie's 4:52. So
certainly looks a bit more steady a pace. Liberty Doubleday just picking up a little bit.
Glasgow 1 and 2. Said that before. City of Glasgow having a sensational meet. We can give you a update. We'll maybe do that during the next heat of the top 10 clubs after 2 days of competition, as we have a club trophy to award on Sunday evening, and that's always fiercely competed for. 300 to go. Let's see what the split is there. 3:38.58. So still
about 2.5 seconds, Duncan.
Yeah, behind Ellie Craig Collins this time, so she'll need a very strong final 100 if she is to match Ellie's time. Still, it's Glasgow 1 and 2. Still tight for third.
Slight chance Libby Doubleday, if she can pick up something special, might just catch her teammate. Also coming through to try and get into the mix. It's Zoe Crawford from first. She's left it a little bit late, Duncan. She's going well in third place.
Now look at that intermediate split. Libby Doubleday 36.67, Zoe Crawford 36.1 against Ayla's 37.98. So this could tighten up down the stretch here. Libby Doubleday in particular is doing her best to try and get close. Also up there is Alex Coy down at the bottom of your screen. She's going nicely. So as we come to the final stages, I think Ayla Cochrane not really threatened. And she finds nice acceleration, in fact, in this last 15 meters or so to absolutely make sure of it. 35.57 for her last 50. So she clearly had that bit in reserve. And, well, my prediction was right, 4:52.13. That is slightly faster than Ellie Craig Collins. So that 2.5 second gap that was in place at 300 was disappeared by the time we got to the end.
She seemed to have that little bit extra in the tank down that final 50. Could she have gone maybe a second faster? Perhaps. That's maybe something to discuss with the coach after you come out the pool.
Yeah, that penultimate 50 was just a little bit of a wobble there, but she was obviously thinking in her head, right, how do I conserve my energies and use it to best effect? I think she did that pretty well.
Yes.
In fact, inside her entry time by 4 seconds, so you can't really complain about that. And swam well, nice steady race.
So fourth heat. Lucia Bivara Sagaro from East Lothian, 1 Rosie Liston, City Glasgow, 2 Georgie Dickey, Dumfries, 3 Emma McGavin, South Lanarkshire, 4 Sarah Stewart from Mulgang Bearsden, 5 Talia Blackley, City of Glasgow, 6 Lexi McCampin from First, 7 Ella Pullman from Glenrothes, 8 is Katie Barron, Midlothian, and 9 Ashley Drake, Warder Baths. Times in this one, again in the 450s range, low 450s this time. So we are certainly hoping for a few, maybe get under 450 in this one, Duncan, and it's a bit tighter.
Yeah, the 10 swimmers fairly well in a line. Lexine McCappin maybe in lane 6, I don't know, let's see.
Seems to be, yeah, perhaps Lexine McCappin. A swimmer from first.
Lane 2 as well, Georgia Dickey. And they are the 1 and 2, just 300s apart. Lexine 108.33. Lexine, academy member from the first team. So I said I was going to give you an update on the points position, so let's do that. We'll do it as your historic way in reverse order. So 10th spot, Heart of Midlothian with 88 points. Dundee City Aquatics just ahead of them in 9th with 91 points. And then first of Lexine's team, they're currently in 8th place with 94 points. Then in 7th, Sterling Swimming with 103 points. Point differential starts to widen at this point. South Lanarkshire in 6th with 149.5 points. And ahead of them in 5th, University of Aberdeen Performance with 190.5 points. Top 4, Perth City going very well in 4th spot, 226. East Lothian having a sensational meet in 3rd, 332.5 points. And the top 2, Warren de Bass in 2nd, 468. And no surprises on the even 600 points. City of Glasgow leading after 2 days of competition.
Yeah, you'll be delighted East Lothian swim team are performing at such a high level. 3rd place, 3 clubs down. Your neck of the woods, Duncan.
Yes, it is. Try not to be biased, but yeah, are certainly doing very well with a great group of swimmers. There's the 16-year-old boys in particular, but also there's some really good youngsters coming through. And we've seen Zara Kravis, for instance, on the top of the podium a few times, and Connor Aspinall and the young boys going well. So yeah, they're having a good meet. But so are quite a few teams. Seen some great swims from Perth City. Glasgow, of course, leading the way. The powerhouse of Scottish swimming, and Warrender, their nearest rivals.
Talia Blackley is certainly beginning to pick the pace up in this one, Duncan. 3:36.49. Pretty steady around about the 36-37 mark. I see McCappin still holds second. I think this is all done and dusted now.
Well, the lead is certainly lots to play for behind her. And of course we're talking about places in finals as well, certainly for the 15-year-olds. They've got chances of hitting finals.
Blackley is indeed one of the 15-year-olds. And with a good strong finish, you'll be the first one under 450, Duncan.
Yeah, our entry time 4:53.08. Done at the West District Pre-Stags meet. She was 3rd.
Sarah Stewart in lane 4, I think, might finish 2nd. Duncan Mulgine Bearsden, also Katie Barn, also flying. Katie Barn and Ashley Drake from Wonderbass, the 2 outside lanes. Well, no doubt about the winner. Talia Blackley just over the 450 mark, lanes 8 and 9. Katie Barron and Ashley Drake, almost inseparable, 200s in it. Katie Barron, 452.81, 452.83. Sarah Stewart, 452.87. Nice tight finish for the minor places there.
Yeah, Talia obviously feeling it big time, I think, down that last 50. 37s against the 35s behind her, where they were sprinting hard. Katie Barron just edging it in 2nd place. We've seen some big finishes from the 2 Barron girls in these last few days. Midlothian, another club that's having some good results here. And we've got another Midlothian swimmer in the fastest lane in this one. At the lineup, Maria Howe of Aberdeen Performance in 0, Lucy Atherton of Hearts in 1, 2 is Emma Finley of East Lothian, 3 Victoria Niven of City of Glasgow, Then we've got Amy Bell of Midlothian in 4, Eleanor Ross of Highland in 5, Nuala Gow of Geary in 6, Louise Connell of City of Glasgow in 7, Jessica Schultz of Perth City in 8, and Safrina Machin of City of Glasgow in lane 9.
Well, Nuala Gow kind of fancied her to be there or thereabouts last night in the 400 IM. Had a heck of a lot to make up at halfway. Duncan certainly pulled a lot out in the breaststroke section, but just couldn't get it going. So want to try and make amends in this one. But in the mix to qualify if she can. This is the 5th of 8 heats.
Yep, Nuala in the 17-18 age group. She's in lane 6, but at the moment behind Eleanor Ross of Highland, who's going to lead them through the 100. North District age group champion, based in Inverness, 1:06.86. It's a lovely facility in Inverness, 8-lane, 25-metre pool. Had some big competitions there in the past. It's a great venue. It always has the reputation as a fast pool.
Indeed. Yes, I think the swimmers always enjoy going up to Inverness because it is renowned for having some cracking times. Another good pool's one near our home territory, Glenrothes, another good pool for swimming, another 8-lane pool, which I think the swimmers enjoy going over there because and some fast times are produced there.
So Eleanor Ross up by just over a second at the 150 from lane 3, Victoria Niven. So mentioning City of Glasgow swimmers an awful lot, so no surprise that they're top of the tree at the moment. Victoria going well here, second in the West District Pre-Stags meet, was 3rd in last year's Festival of Swimming. She is not far behind Eleanor now, just 3/10 in it, the halfway point. A couple of seconds faster than Talia Blackley's split. Going nicely in 0 is Maria Howe from Aberdeen Performance, North District age group silver medalist.
Well, I've not seen a change of leader for any of these events so far. Swimmers have gone out and dominated. Eleanor was dominating a little bit earlier on.
So you're predicting a change of lead here? Let's
no,
put your cards on the table, Mr. Taylor.
No, I'm predicting that Eleanor Ross will maintain this advantage, and Victoria Niven will give it everything, but I just put the cards on the table right now and say that Eleanor Ross will just sneak this one.
Well, you're a brave man. Let's see if you're right. Coming up to the 300. And it's pretty much neck and neck now. So with 300 to go, who's going to get the touch? Still just Eleanor by a couple of tenths, 3:33.79. But she's in a dogfight now with Victoria Niven. But it looks like she's relishing the challenge. Just needing to find maybe a little bit more pace to try and see that threat off. And then we've got Nuala Gow, we were talking about earlier, challenging for 3rd place with Maria Howe. But
Nuala Gow going very strongly now, Duncan. Again, she's left it a bit late. Eleanor Ross, 35.60, is taking almost second and a half advantage on that last 50. So cards on the table to be right.
It's looking good for you, Robert. Well done. That was a brave call with over 100 to go as at that stage Victoria Niven was closing. She's pushing hard again here, but I think Eleanor has enough in hand. Although Victoria Niven working hard to try and claw the gap back, but nice little acceleration of pace by Eleanor going into the wall and takes the win in 4:44.25. Both girls getting inside their entry times and really feeding off each other very nicely there to give them both good times. with Gao taking third in 4:48.36. Well done, Robert. That was a good call.
Especially when I don't know very much about Eleanor. That's probably the very first time I've seen the girl swim. I do see Victoria swimming regularly at West District, so I know her capabilities. And she's always been improving gradually over the last few months, just snipping the odd second or two off. It's just what you want from a coaching point of view.
So this is heat number 6. In the lineup, Catherine Renfrew of Perth in 0, Rebecca Ogier of South Lanarkshire in 1, Orla McInnes of Heart of Midlothian in 2, India Marshall of East Lothian in 3, Jory Horn of City of Glasgow in 4, Catherine Poddy of Geary in 5, Tegan Black of East Lothian in 6, Melissa Main-Waring, West Lothian in 7, Kirsty Neal of Bishop Stortford in 8, and Holly Simpson of Abney Performance in lane 9. We were talking about Kirsty Neal earlier with that fantastic 200 breaststroke comeback swim. She goes here in lane 8, down in the pack at the moment.
So cards on the table on this one, Duncan. I don't know if we've had a lane 4 victory. I'm going to put the cards on the table and say we will have a lane 4 victory in this one, but maybe Catherine Renfrew in lane 0 will upset the apple cart here. Catherine going very nicely on that outside lane. Entries in this one in the mid 440s.
And it is Catherine Renfrew leads 1:05.12 at the 100. Jory Horn second, Catherine Boddy third. Couple of, well, 3 15-year-olds in this one, the younger age group. Orla McInnes in 2. Tegan Black, who won the 1500, goes in 6, and Kirsty Neal in lane 8.
Jory Horn a few years ago would have been looked upon very much as a butterfly specialist, Duncan. But she's added a few strings to her bow since she's moved from Rutherglen to City in Glasgow in the last year.
And she now leads by a 10th over Catherine, with Tegan Black a second back. So again, we don't want to, particularly the younger swimmers here, you don't want to absolutely kill yourself here. There's swimming against swimmers in different age groups. Jory in the 17-18s, as is Catherine Boddy, Catherine Renfrew and Tegan Black in the 15s. And Jory now has extended a lead to the best part of 7/10, 2:17.70. Again, faster than we've seen by a couple of seconds. And Jory is gradually building a lead now. Rebecca Ogier on Catherine Renfrew's shoulder.
She'll enjoy at least 400. She'd prefer maybe to do an 8 or a 1500, Duncan. Certainly enjoys the distance events, Rebecca. She's coming through pretty strongly, as is Tegan Black from East Lothian. Well, Jory Horn has a nice 2.5 second advantage. Well, cards were on the table early doors, and
you're on a roll. Would you like
I'm on a roll, yeah.
Would you like to give us the horses for this afternoon?
Yeah. Lottery numbers for tomorrow evening. I think is it lottery numbers for the European lottery tonight. Well, Jory Horn.
Well, if we suddenly find that you're in the Bahamas tomorrow, we'll know that the Euro lottery numbers came off for you.
Yes, indeed, Duncan. Well, you are giving me the morning off tomorrow, aren't you?
Get the private jet back in the afternoon.
Yeah. And Jory Horn certainly enjoying her swimming at City Glasgow, and you can see that. Very relaxed, and comes round sub 30. She's really picking it. It's a really very well controlled swim from Jory Horn, just gradually picking up and picking up throughout. Entry time of 4:44.70. She's going to be well inside that, Duncan.
Yes, she is.
Very impressive.
This has been really good. Rebecca Auger has just got stronger and stronger as this race has progressed, and she's going to be good for second place. But 4:36.51 for Jory. Nice stuff. Rebecca 4:42.35, close for third. Just went to Catherine Renfrew ahead of Tegan Black. 4:45.35. 4:45.60 for Tegan. Orla McInnes just behind her. So the 3 15-year-olds there, all very tight. So
yep.
We'll keep an eye on the 15-year-old times in other heats just to see how they compare.
2:17.70 at halfway, 4:36.51. Not quite a negative split for Jory, but very impressive nonetheless. Good second half as well. On to the two-seeded heats now. N0, Grace Campbell from Portobello. 1, Mia McLeod, Swim It. 2, Stella McCarty, City of Glasgow. 3, Cara Gordon, Stirling Swim. 4, Olivia Mason, Warner Baths. 5, Mary Craig, Stirling Swim. 6, Anna Green, Warner Baths. 7, Louisa Stoddart, East Lothian. 8 is Jenna Cole, North Lanarkshire. And 9, Caris Moody from City of Glasgow. Times in this one, 4:27 through to 4:44. Of course, as I said, this is the first of the two seeded heats, so all the action should be in the middle lanes, sort of 3 through to 6. And, no surprise to see Olivia Mason from Warder going out very strongly. Mary Craig in 5, Anna Green in 6, and Lisa Stoddart in 7, almost turning together. 30:41 and joint third, so less than half a second at the moment. This is where Olivia Mason just gets that little bit extra.
Mary Craig, silver medalist in the 1500 on Wednesday. So we'll see how she progresses, this race progresses. She's in the white cap there in lane 5, sterling swimmer. And she's pretty much up with Olivia Mason, just a tad behind her, half a second or so. 1:04.64 for Olivia. 1:05.12 for Grace Campbell, is a real gutsy swimmer from Portobello. Always gives of her best. And she is going very nicely in lane 0. Olivia Mason 4th in East District age groups. That was swum back in January in Glenrothes short course.
Both these girls will be thrilled to be doing 4:800s, 1500s. Very renowned for doing a lot of good distance work, Duncan. Olivia Mason now 18. I think I recall going with you to Bathgate a long time ago when we were doing East District time trials for some of the less experienced swimmers, and I think Olivia Mason came through very strongly to get a qualifying time for East District, about an 800, and she's just gone from strength to strength since then. And, she got a good race with Mary Craig, 2:15.21, 2:15.35. Don't think they're doing too much, doing enough to get the job done at the moment.
Yes, both of them in the 17-18 age group. Grace Campbell is as well. She's gunning. I mean, you were talking earlier about the ones who are lower down the pecking order would really have to bring their A game to the morning swim, try and get that second swim, and certainly Grace would be in that position, and she's giving it a really good shot there up in lane 0. See if she can hold on to third. Anna Green, of course, we saw winning the backstroke last night in a very fine race against Holly McGill. So she is showing her versatility here with the 400 freestyle swim in lane 6, and just behind her in 3 is second Sterling swimmer. That's a tough one to say. Cara Gordon.
She's another one that's just beginning to develop into a pretty good distance swimmer, Cara Gordon. Did some open water last year at West Districts and performed at a very high level. So nice to see her enjoying that up at Loch Venacher. last August.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a good open water season this summer. We had a bit of blue algae problems last year.
We did indeed.
Hopefully we can avoid that this year and get a full program of district and national events.
Grace Campbell, 4:03.71 in third. Well, she can come back somewhere around 36 seconds, sub 4:40. That I'm sure will give her a very strong chance of getting into a final. She's in third place, Duncan, and still looks pretty comfortable.
Yes, she does. Not as comfortable as Mari Craig, though. She is in good shape now to take this one. Her entry time 4:28, so we're not at that pace, but well, booking her slot in the final with that 4:35.41. Only a second or so inside Jory Horn's time, but inside it, which is probably the thing that matters to her, for her. Olivia Mason, 4:37.18. Grace Campbell, 4:38.67. So they'll all be hoping they've done enough for another swim.
Yeah, you'd certainly fancy Grace Campbell from that outside lane in the 4:38. That will give her a guaranteed swim this evening. We have two swimmers who are 15 and 16 in this one, so unless all 8 swim really, really well, I think we'll have the Portobello last back this evening. So in our final heat, in 0, Amelia Mardo from Ulverston, 1 Jessica Heaps, Faulthouse Penguins, 2 Ella Yule, South Aberdeenshire, 3 Rachel Saunders, Warner Darts, 4 Natasha Simpson, Warner Darts, 5 Catherine Bailey, Perth City, 6 Anna Williamson, City of Glasgow, 7 Susie McNair from First, 8 is Kerry Gillespie, Aberdeen Performance, and 9 Anna Edmondson, City of Glasgow. Don't be surprised to see Susie McNair probably sitting about 9th or 10th. At the early stage, she'll finish very strongly. The youngest in this last heat, 15-year-old, the other swimmer who's under 17-18 is in lane 1, Jessica Heaps with the red cap of Faulthouse. So McPhee earlier on with the white cap of Faulthouse. It's a red cap at the moment. It's middle lane, Natasha Simpson.
Yeah, beside her, Catherine Bailey is having an impressive set of performances this week, including already a gold medal in the 1500 and in the 200 fly.
She had a nice swim in that 1500, Duncan, Catherine.
So 1:03.46, Natasha, very much a distance specialist, and this is a sprint for Natasha. She has put in a good swim, the second in the junior final last week in Sheffield, the British Championships, 4:24.84 she did there. So again, we talked about this yesterday, about holding your form through from Sheffield last week into Glasgow this week, and it's quite tough to do because these swimmers, I guess they'll have gone down to Sheffield with different aspirations depending on them, but pretty much I think they would be taking it very seriously as a meet to taper for and to perform at your best, and then to try and replicate that a week later. Well, that's hard. But we'll see how Natasha does. 11.75, so that's a fair bit faster than Mari Craig in the previous heat, 3.5 seconds. She leads by 3 seconds from Catherine. Jessica Heaps over in lane 1 in 3rd place.
Jessica Heaps going pretty well in lane 1, 16-year-old. Anna Williamson, City of Glasgow, holding 4th. And coming up to the 2:50 mark. Natasha Simpson well cleared, Duncan.
Yeah, the leading 16-year-old time at the moment, that time from Eleanor Ross a few heats ago, 4:44, so Jessica will be looking to try and get inside that. She's the only 16-year-old in this heat. We've got a 15-year-old as well, Susie McNair, what a meet she's having. in lane 7, so she's out of your shot at the moment, but certainly will be looking to go into, there she is now on the left of your screen.
Well, she was 9th, Duncan, at the first 100. She's now gone 5th. 3:21.16. As you say, it's 4.5 seconds faster. Catherine Bailey, I don't think she's too perturbed, going well within herself. It's good to know if you've got one swimmer well ahead of you and you're in 2nd place, and this one of the 2 seeded heats, you know, fine, you're going to qualify for the final, do enough, especially if she's got another swim later on this morning.
So Natasha then getting the job done, 3:56. So we're looking at 4:30-ish sort of time. Good heat workout. See if she does pick up pace down this last length, or whether she's happy just to ease her way down. Catherine, you see just on the left of your screen, so 10 meters back.
Anna Williamson looks as though she's going to hold on to get 3rd place. So they're all in the 17-18-year-old category. Or maybe not. Jessica Heap still going well. There's Anna Williamson just in 3rd ahead of Jessica Heaps and Susie McNair. Jessica and Susie, pretty steady times, 4:43, 32 and 80 respectively. So they'll certainly be in the middle lanes, I think, this evening. Duncan?
Yes, Susie certainly will be the fastest qualifier in the 15-year-olds, 4:43. And just looking at the 16-year-olds, I think the same is true for Jessica. 4:43 for her as well. We'll put her about a second ahead of Eleanor Ross's time, we saw earlier. So some excellent times achieved there, and we'll see a good number of these swimmers again this evening.
Nice to see a Fauldhouse Penguin swimmer get a pole position for a final.
Yeah,
Some of the smaller clubs.
Jessica, a very consistent distance freestyler. You always know what you're going to get with Jessica, and it's always good effort and usually a good time. So we go to 50 freestyle now, so no time to draw your breath here. You'll remember, if you were watching last night, we had some problems at the scoreboard end with the starting equipment, so they've decided now to start the 50s in the normal start end, and so all the officials have to sort of relocate themselves with their watches to make sure we've got manual times at the far end, because we needed those manual times yesterday. And I think we're ready to go. Jaden Chan, Finley Sang, James Boddy, Mark Watchorn, Freddie Mills, David Lamman, Adam Scott, Callum McLaughlin, Royas Congelis and Callum King, the lineup here, times all in the 27s. This is going to be a dash to the wall, pushing on in 5, David Lamman, lane 0, Jaden Chan, Finley Sang in lane 1. This is tough.
6.
Who's going to get it?
6, there Langman, Jaden Chan.
I think this should be just one of us through the 50. So taking the win there, Adam Scott, as you said, Robert, 26.51 by a couple of tenths from David Lamman, and Jaden Chan in 3rd.
Heat 2, Dylan McCombie, James Burnett, Ben Montgomery, Cameron Mitchell, Andy Spitton, Conor Mitchell, Bailey McGinley, Adam Thompson, Greg Hall, Lucas Johnson. About 27 seconds in this one, Duncan. Fairly level start. Might just be lane 5. Conor Mitchell, Wander Baths, who just shades this. Also there, Adam Thompson, Bailey McGinley in 7 and 6. Conor Mitchell is going to take this. Lane 9 and 7. back Lucas Johnson in 9 and Bailey McGinley in 6 in 3rd. So Warner swimmer, Conor Mitchell.
Yeah, nice PB from him.
26.21 and outside lane 26.95. Lucas Johnston with Bailey McGinley from first, 26.99 third place. Tight for that second and third.
Yeah, 7/10. That's a big win in a 50 freestyle. So Conor made me think of him as a breaststroker, but really good there. His Heat 3 lineup: Richard Laws, Lewis Gray, Jack Mitchell, Ben Smallwood, Jack Lorimer, Adam Curry, Callum Gold, Rowan Brown, Cameron Gill, and Lewis Husson. 26.7 to 27.0 times here. Pushing on Jack Lorimer of Ithon in lane 4, lane 1. Lewis Gray of Inverclyde, mentioned him before. Lane 3, Ben Smallwood of Kinross. But it looks like lane 4 is going to edge it, although lane 9 going well. Let's see, it's tight this one. Cameron Gill, in fact, it was from lane 8. The first swimmer taking that. Unfortunately, it looks like we've got a disqualification in that one. It was Jack Lorimer in lane 4. So he's disqualified. Presumably that was at the start. Second, so first was Cameron Gill, second Callum Gold, third Adam Curry.
Well, what you can do to get disqualified, it's most likely to be a start in lane 0. Peter Tetlow, 1 Robbie Boyd, 2 Scott Fleming, 3 Ben King, 4 Logan van der Meulen, 5 Kane Buchanan, 6 Fergus Curry, 7 Edward Bell, 8 Jonah Turnbull, 9 Marcus Blake. This is Heat 4. Strong start in 1 from Robbie Boyd. Coming through strongly in the middle lanes, Kane Buchanan and Logan van der Meulen in 4. Logan van der Meulen perhaps, Ben King in 3. Very tight at the final stage. It's anybody's here. 3-4-3-2. Ben King and maybe just shaded that. Logan van der Meulen in 4, 25.91. Ben King 25.99. Scott Fleming in 2. Takes third in 26.19. Very much on the touch there, Duncan.
Yeah, that was the tightest one we've seen, wasn't it? Logan van der Meulen just getting the job done, and he and Ben King getting under the 26 seconds. So really pleased about that. Both inside their entry times. Heat 6, Heat 5 rather. We've got Adam Scott, Magnus Bullough, Matthew McMillan, Torrin Liversedge, Archie Smith, Callum Ferretti, Andrew Brodie, Emil Moravsky, Luke Doyle, and Alex Black. A couple of 16-year-olds, 4 16-year-olds, and 6, 17, 18-year-olds, times 26 low. Again, all lined up, mainly from lanes 4 through to 7, and maybe it's going to be the Dolphin in lane 6, Andrew Brodie. It is 25.80 from Emil Moravsky, the breaststroke specialist, 25.88 for him. And third place, Callum Ferretti, 25.94.
Another tight one there. Move on to, that's confirmed, 25.80 Andrew Brodie. On to Heat 6, 0 Brodie Gordon Gibson, 1 Zach Slater, 2 Jake Gibson, 3 Lewis Moyer, 4 Ewan Beattie, 5 Ewan Allen, 6 Sam Moore, 7 Robson Miles, 8 Kieran Lennox, and 9 Nathan Campbell. 25.80 to 26, so another blanket finish ahead, I'm sure. Quickly into the stroke in lane 6. Sam Moore, Robson Miles in 7, Ewan Beattie in 4, also going well, and in 8, Kieran Lennox. Far side, Brodie Gordon Gibson not out of it. Brodie Gordon Gibson, Ewan Beattie, 2 wonder swimmers, and in 5, oh, it's a tight one. I think Brodie, yeah, Brodie in that outside lane. We got another outside lane, lane 0. So the second one this morning, 25.16, cracking swim from Brodie.
Yeah, entered on 26 dead, so to take that amount off in the 50 is good stuff. Both Brodie and Ewan swam earlier in the 200s backstroke, so good stuff from them. Heat 7, Joe Carter, Callum Rose, Greer van der Merlen, Finley Clubb, Stefan Kravis, Tom Robertson, Luke Porteous, Ben Kelly, Callum Sinclair, Noah Quinnell. So into the 3 cycle seeded heats here. Lanes 5 starting well, that's Tom Robertson. Seen him on the podium, we've seen the swimmer beside him, Stefan Kravis as well, particularly in fly. And it's between these two, it looked pretty tight. Going well in 7 is Ben Kelly, but it's going to be Kravis just in that last 10 meters, just opened it up. 24.09, so that's over 3/10 inside his entry time. That was impressive swim there from Stefan. So he is up for it, this 50 freestyle sprint.
Slowly out of the traps there, but finished very strongly, as you say, Duncan. On to heat 8, in 0, Travis Davey, 1, Connor Slesser, 2, Finn Bremer, 3, Callum Dunn, 4, Alex Thompson, 5, Lucas Brown, 6, Callum Peebles, 7, Sarah Woolen, 8, John Mackay, and 9, Jake Holmes. Some of these boys have back for their second swim this morning. Alex Thompson, fastest qualifier, 24.30. Lucas Brown in 5, maybe a slightly better start. It's Lucas Brown, Anna Thompson, Finn Bremner in 2, Callum Dunn in 3. The Elgin swimmer has this one, I think. Lucas Brown, tight behind. Lucas Brown in 6 and 7. Coming through, Finn Bremner, Callum Dunn, what was a blanket finish at the end. Lucas Brown took that pretty easily indeed, 24.5.
So also inside his entry time, not quite matching Stefan's time, 24.09. Both of them, Stefan and Lucas, in the 16 age group, so every chance they'll be in the centre lanes tonight, so that'll be a good one. Here's the final heat though. Cameron Creaney, Finley Nelson, Jack Murphy, William Storer, Rory McKinnon, Murray Pritchard, Adam Ritchie, Jack McDonald, Dylan Cashmore and Evan Davidson. Keep an eye on Evan Davidson in the outside lane because he's having a cracking meet. But slide lane 4, Rory McKinnon's got the fastest entry time, 23.68, and that is the fastest entry time by quite a margin for a 50 freestyle. And he certainly has got the lead ahead of Murray Pritchard, who's having a good race, a good meet rather. He's going to be second, and looked like it was William Storer in 3rd place, lane 3, 23.76. So
very impressive swim there.
Yeah, they were certainly up for it this morning on that 50 freestyle. We went through that very quickly. Very quick swimmers there. 24.08 for Murray. He'll be happy with that as well. Entered 24.44. William Storer 24.65 in 3rd place. He was also inside his entry time by about a quarter of a second. So, yeah, very much up for it as we run through the summary. And we get ready for the girls to show what they can do. We've got 9 heats with them. So just going through all of these times, you can see just how small the spreads are between 10 swimmers. You can see there, 3/10 on that page. And so it goes on, just 2/10 on that page. So very, very high standard of 50 sprints.
Every chance we might get a swim off, but we'll find out later on, Duncan, either in the boys or the girls. We didn't have any swim offs yesterday, which was maybe just as well given the teething problems we had.
Yeah, I'm seeing, looking at some of the results, we might have a joint 11th in the 15 age group. So they'll need to resolve that, see who's first reserve. I think otherwise we're going to be okay. See what we get with the girls.
So our first heat of 9 in 0. Caitlin Frame for first, 1 Rosie Liston, City Glasgow, 2 Mai Rogers, Warner Bass, 3 Phoebe Murdoch, South Ayrshire, 4 Louise Connell, City of Glasgow, 5 Ellie Craig Collins, Warner Bass, 6 Rachel Maguire, North Ayrshire, 7 Rebecca Batchelor, South Aberdeenshire, 8, Bronwyn Payne from Best, and 9, Rebecca Cole from South Lanarkshire.
So we've got a little bit of a delay here, not quite sure why. I feel for Ellie Craig Collins. It doesn't seem any time since she did that 400. Now she is here doing the 50.
She's barely had 15 minutes rest. All these girls just under the 30-second mark. And off we go with 9 heats. Nice start in lane 8 rather, Bronwyn Payne from Best. And she has fractional lead coming through strongly. Rebecca Batchelor and Ellie Kate Collins, aforementioned. In lane 5, Ellie Kate Collins coming through to take this, I think. Ellie Kate Collins, Bronwyn and Rebecca. That's how it finishes. Lanes 5, 8, and 7, 29, 24. Almost half a second out inside that entry time of 29.70.
So that 400 obviously was a good warm-up for her.
Certainly was. She obviously was saving herself for this one. 29.24. Well done, Ellie. Good swims also from Bronwyn and Rebecca there. As we move on to heat number 2.
And the lineup for heat number 2. So the lineup here, it's been reseeded, this one. Jessica Beaton, Victoria Grabowska, Anna Sutty, Lucy Atherton, Erica Watt, Evie Judge, Rebecca Sen, Chloe Barron, Maria Howe and Ella Pullman. Times here, the mid to high 29s. Up at the top of your screen, Jessica Beaton starting well. Beside her, Victoria Grabowska. But it's going to be the hard swimmer in lane 4, Erica Watt, coming through to take the win. Time, well, no, Chloe Barron, in fact, getting it, 29.15, missed her. Taking it by 400ths from Erica Watt, 29.15, 29.19. Ella Pullman of Glenrothes taking 3rd spot.
You mentioned the Barrow girls earlier on. She came through late to take that one, Duncan. On to heat 3. N0, Alice Hall. 1, Safina Machin. 2, Emma McGavin. 3, Taylor Smith. 4, Mia McLeod. 5, Sarah Stewart. 6, Amelia Ray. 7, Dobroska Tamese. 8, Bethany Irvin. And 9, Chloe McLean. This is heat number 3. Low to mid 29s. Nice start in lane 4. Mia McLeod from Swim It. 4 and 5, Sarah Stewart and Amelia Ray also well there. Lane 8 and 1, Safina Machin and 1, Bethany Irvin and 8. It's the middle lanes, Mia McLeod, Amelia Ray, Sarah Stewart. Coming into the final. Yeah, Amelia and Sarah, that's how it finishes. Pretty comfortable win, 28.05. That was a very impressive swim. Takes 1.25 seconds off that 29.30, Duncan.
Yeah, impressive stuff indeed, going in the 15 age group. So I think we'll be seeing Mia again in the final. Cracking on to heat number 4. Kirsty Gilmore, Tiana Greenshields, Julie Dunn, Emily Fawkes, Isabella Abernethy, Emma Leggett, Natalie Marshall, Heather Stewart, Amelia Kennedy and Anna Easton. Times here low 29, 29 dead to 29.3. So we'll see if anybody can get anywhere near that. Mia McLeod time 28.05. That's a big ask. Coming down the pool. It's again pretty close. Tiana Greenshields going well in lane 1, starting to move in for Isabella Abernethy, the Aberdeen Dolphin. Also up there in 6 is Natalie Marshall. Let's see who's going to get the touch. This is tight. Oh, no, it's not. Lane 6, Natalie Marshall. 27.74. Wow. That was very impressive. So we said, can anybody get anywhere near that 28.05? Well, the answer was a resounding yes, we can, and we can beat it. Well done, Natalie. 27.74. Isabella Abernethy second, 28.74, and Tiana Greenshields third in 28.96.
No, it wasn't just 1.25 off, it was nearer 1.5. Anna Williamson 0-1, Keisha McCormack 2, Charlotte Wright 3, Katie Rose 4, Gabrielle Lacing 5, Amy Hearn 5, Reese Sophia Kennel 7, Anna Jensen 8, Hilda MacArthur 9, Melissa Turnbull. This is heat 5. 9.28's up to 29, and middle lanes in this one, certainly to the 4. Going well in 3, Katie Rose, Gabriella Leasing in 4, Amy Hearn in 5. It's Gabriella in 4. I think who's just got the advantage. Gabriella in 4. Who's going to get second? Lane 9 and 3. It was 9 and 3. Gabriella Leasing 29.17 by 200s. 29.18. Katie Rose 28.40. A wee bit, that one was a wee bit tighter, Duncan. A good swim from Gabriella. We're going hard into time.
Do you remember what you said at the end of the boys 50 freestyle? Will there be a swim-off?
There is one.
There is one.
Oh, lovely.
It's going to be before the 1500 freestyle. It'll be for that 11th spot. It's going to be Edward Bell of Seagulls against Zach Slater of East Lothian. So stay tuned for that one. That'll be fast and furious. On to heat number 6. Catherine Renfrew, Maya Reynard, Eve Mayer, Heidi Wren, Emily Cumming, Charlotte Hardy, Grace Noonan, Jessica Heats, Zoe Crawford, Jenna Cole. So Jessica Heats, we seem to have only just stopped talking about.
Yep.
Back very quickly here. She goes in lane 7, fastest qualifying times 28.5 for both Emily Cumming and Charlotte Hardy. And it looks like Charlotte's the one who is taking this one out in lane 5. Based in Millfield Swimming at our home base of South Ayrshire, and this is a pretty emphatic win for Charlotte. 2 silver medals for her in breaststroke so far, but she'll be looking to see whether she can get onto the podium now with the 53. That was a good time. Again, a long way inside her entry time. 1.3, so these sprinters are on fire. I think that is the official term for it.
Maybe they should also do 400 free beforehand. That was another good swim from Jessica Heaps, finishing second, taking almost a second off her time. So well done, girls. Heat 7, Natalie Bruce, Amelia Mardell, Scarlett Ferris, Olivia Mason, Millie Milne, Melissa Mainwaring, Catriona Stewart, Lisa Stoddart, Sophie Hull, Kerry Gillespie. Well, we're looking for big things from Olivia Mason in this one, having swum a 400, 27.60. Let's see how she does. Millie Milne, her teammate, 27.04, fastest in this one. A nice start in lane 7, Lisa Stoddart, East Lothian swim team. Also in lane 2, Scarlett Ferris, Dundee from Perth City. Well, it's going to be a blanket finish here. Catriona Stewart from Western Bartonshire in lane 6, coming through very strongly at the death. Catriona Stewart, I think, might just take this. Lanes 8 and 7. Well, Melissa Mainwaring, 8 and 7, were in fact 3rd and 4th. Catriona Stewart, 27.22. It's a good half second off. And Olivia Mason, well, 27.60, 27.89. Maybe just took that a little bit too much out of her in the 400. Good swim from Catriona.
So 2 more heats to go in this girls 50 freestyle. The lineup in the next one. Ashley Drake, Ailey Robertson, Eva Aguero, Ida Yule, Kira Sterica, Elise Cousins, Anna Green, Hannah Smith, Amber Stevenson and Alice Mackey.
That last heat not quite going to seeding.
No, but of course it's so close these times. 27.01 the fastest entry time here, Kira Sterica. West District age group silver medalist, short course. See what she does here, long course, and going in lane 4 in the blue of South Ayrshire. Off to a decent start. So is Ailey Robertson, her teammate in lane 1, the 50 breaststroke gold medalist. Getting into a stride now, Elise Cousins as well in lane 5. It looks like it is the 2 centre lanes now. We're going to sort it out between them, and there's very little to choose between them as they come into the wall. I think it's just going to be the South Ayrshire swimmer, Kira Sterica, in 26.89. So that's inside her entry time, and will have landed her place comfortably into a good lane in the final. Second, Elise Cousins in 26.97, and third, Anna Green, 27.58.
All inside their entry times, so can't ask for any more. Good swim also from Ailey Robertson, 15-year-old in lane 4, in lane 1 and 4th. Final heat, Radha McGregor, Natasha Simpson, Sienna Perry, Laura Burgess, Drew McKenzie, Ariana Stokes, Chloe Bowen, Anna De Grossa, Helen Sturrock and Faith Hura. 26.80 fastest is Drew McKenzie in this one. And Ariana Stokes with a slightly better start, although here comes Drew McKenzie in 4 to challenge, also up there in 6. Chloe Bowen and Helen Sturrock in 8. And Drew McKenzie getting to work now, and she's having to do so. Ariana Stokes close beside her. Drew and Ariana, and in 6, Chloe Bowen. That's the finish order, 26.96, Ariana, 27 dead, and 27.58, Chloe Bowen.
So we're set up there, 26.96 there from Drew, 26.89 from Kira in the previous heat, so it's going to be a good tight contest there. I
think the caption's gone a little bit haywire now.
That looked like there were 3 on the same time, and 5th place there, if I read that right. That joint 21st as well, so we'll need to check up on, again, the possibility of swim-offs, because that's where you're most likely to get them in the 50 sprints, where there's such thin margins between all the swimmers. Just looking to see whether all the results are coming through, and I think they have. And so I think we're okay. I don't see any swim-offs in our results there, so
maybe just one to look forward to then.
Yep, looks like it, unless the 100 breaststrokers can serve something up for us. That's where we go next. Back to the boys. We've got 9 heats in this. The swimmers ready to go in the first heat, and that's your lineup. Lewis Muir, Carnegie, Rowan Brown of Elgin, Ben Payton of Aberdeen Performance, Cameron Gill of First, Youssef Ibrahim of City of Glasgow, Samuel Beetham of First, Keir Sampson of Scotia, Jack Ray of Eithin, Aidan Nixon of North Lanarkshire, and Harry Keogh of Ren 96. 118 to 120. The entry times here. We'll start in lane 3. Cameron Gill of First. Lane 1 as well, Rowan Brown of Elgin. I'm guessing Lucas Brown's brother, I don't know that. So tell me if I'm right or wrong. Also going well, the Midlothian swimmer, Scotia swimmer. I'm getting my greens mixed up. Keir Sampson. He's in 2nd spot behind Youssef Ibrahim and gets the touch there. 36.71. too much to separate the leading group of swimmers. Keep your eye on lane 9 rather. Harry Keogh in the white cap there down at the bottom of your screen, just getting hidden by the running clock at the moment, but he is going very well. And it certainly looks like he's in with a decent shout, although the swimmers over on the other side are perhaps just going to edge it away from him, and in particular Yusuf Ibrahim I think will just get the touch, which he does in 1:19.63. Good tight contest there, just half a second between the top 5. Second place then was Ben Payton, 1:19.76, and third Samuel Beetham, 1:19.90, but 1:19.63 the winning time there for Yusuf.
Moving on to our second heat. 0 David Landman, City Glasgow. 1 Chris Matur from Warner Bass. 2 Sam Rose, Warner Bass. 3 Adam Hill, Stirling Swim. 4 Ewan Gray from Cooper District. 5 Bradley Jack from First. 6 Finlay Shang from City Glasgow. 7 Stephen Pate from Finns. 8 Alex Cumming of Lanarkshire, and 9 Taylor Sinclair from Elgin. Times in this one, 1:16 to 1:18. Lane 0 up with the mix, David Landman. Also coming through strongly in 4 Ewan Gray from Cooper District. Coming down towards the halfway mark. I think it is a Cooper swimmer, Ewan Gray, just with the advantage, or Finlay Tang. 34.76. The halfway mark.
He's got a lead of only 1500ths and then a half second gap to Bradley Jack. So these 3 in lanes 4, 5 and 6 certainly look like the ones, and perhaps in particular now lane 6, Finlay Sang pushing on to try and get past Ewan Gray.
Bradley Jack between them now. Duncan coming through strongly. It's the longer stretch from Finlay. And in lane 3, Adam Hill, Stirling Swim with a late charge, who might just get up and take this one. It's the City Glasgow swimmer just nudging ahead. Adam Hill in second. Bradley Jack in third, 1:16.12, 1:16.16.
Yeah, that was a big push there from Adam Hill. Just not quite getting there in the end, but only by 400ths. Good effort. Confirmation of that result. Finlay taking it. 1:16.12, Adam Hill, 1:16.16, Bradley Jack third, 1:16.99. Heat number 3, Fraser Burton goes for Orkney in 0, Logan Ward of Glenrothes in 1, Ewan Wardler of South Lanarkshire in 2, Jack Doherty Simpson of Scotia in 3, Callum Gold, Adam Dolphin in 4, Michael Skeckel of Inverleith in 5, Callum Aitchison of Bucky in 6, Liam Kosinski of Monifeith in 7, Ben King of Mulgown Besden in 8, and Mark Watchorn of Scotia in lane 9. 1:15s and 1:16s the range of times here, and lanes 5 and 6 going well. That's Michael Skeckel, saw a good swim from him earlier, but just ahead of him is Callum Aitchison of Bucky. And Callum has the lead at the 50, 33.14 by half a second. See if Michael Skeckel can work that down in the second half. He's certainly giving it a good go. Lane 9 also going well, Mark Watchorn of Scotia. I think it's going to be between these 2 centre lanes, and Michael Skeckel pushing hard. Has he got the edge? I think he does. Coming up nicely on the far side, Fraser Burton and Logan Ward, but it's going to be Michael Skeckel who will take this one from Callum Aitchison. That's the 1-2. 1:13.98 for Michael. So nice 2-second improvement for him. Callum Aitchison 1:14.38 in second. And Mark Watchorn taking third out of lane 9, 1:16.08 for him. So we move on to heat number 4.
in 0, Luke Garrity, Inverclyde. 1, Jaden Chan, Carnegie. 2, Fraser Tetlow, Deary. 3, Finlay Davis from Midlothian. 4, Tyler Milton, Bests. 5, Thomas Traynor, South Lanarkshire. 6, Kai Connolly, City Glasgow. 7, Greg Hall, Aberdeen Performance. 8, Jack Lorimer, Hythen. And 9, Finn Bannerman, Perth City. 114s through to 115s in this one. Maybe the best start, Jack Lorimer, I think, in lane 8. Coming through in lane 4, Tyler Milton. And, Thomas Traynor, Kai Connolly in 4 and 5. The middle lane's bunching up. I think Jack Lorimer still has the advantage. 33.96. Off a third of a second in it at the moment. And, now Jack being challenged by Thomas Traynor from South Lanarkshire. Over in lane 0, Luke Garrity. Inverclyde getting to work. Still the advantage, Jack Lorimer, Thomas Traynor. Not much between the two. Very close for third. Jack Lorimer is just going to hang on. Thomas Traynor, and in 4, Tyler Milton. 1:13.37, 1:13.49 and 1:40.90 for Tyler.
Yeah, worried for
Good
Jack
strong.
there on the finish there. It looked like maybe he hadn't quite got this stroke right to get a good finish, but he did manage to just nick it somehow from Thomas. 1:13.37, 1:13.49 there. Tyler Milton, the border swimmer, taking third. On to heat number 5, Andrew Mackenzie of Stirling in 0, Marcus Blake, City of Glasgow in 1, Luke Janssen of Warrender in 2, Kane Buchanan, Dundee City Aquatics in 3, Lewis Austin of Highland in 4, Fraser McIntosh, South Lanarkshire in 5, Kyle Wong, City of Glasgow in 6, Lewis Brander of Monifeith in 7, Connor Stewart of Stirling Swim in 8, and Torrin Liversedge of South Aberdeenshire in lane 9. Strong start in lane 4 from Lewis Austin. Lewis, the Highland Swim Team North District A Group finalist, and he's certainly taking it out aggressively here. He's up by best part of a body length, 33.70. His halfway split, over a second ahead of anybody else, and pushing on hard in the second half as well. Let's see if anybody can muster a comeback. Lanes 7 and 8 having a go. Lewis Brander and Connor Stewart. So it's going to be fairly close, I think, as we come up. They are all tying up. Here comes lane 5, Fraser McIntosh as well. Lane 2, Luke Janssen. So there's around 3-4 swimmers who could get this one. Let's see who does. I think it's going to be the Monifeith swimmer. It is. Lewis Brander takes the win, 1:13.80 for him. So entered 1:14.10, so nice 3/10 improvement. Luke Janssen in second place, Fraser McIntosh in third.
Nice swim there to come through late and take that up, Duncan. Timed it perfectly. On to heat number 6. Logan van der Meulen, 0, Stirling Swim. 1, Guy Pelosi, City Glasgow. 2, Jamie Jardine, Warnder Bass. 3, Lewis Gray, Inverclyde. 4, Jacob Wood, Elgin. 5, Ben McLaughlin from Geary. 6, Guy Semple, Warnder Bass. 7, Angus Young, Heart of Midlothian. 8, Jake Gibson from the Broch. And 9, Dylan McConvey, South Aberdeenshire. Nice start in lanes 3 and 4. 2 and 3 rather, Jamie Jardine, Lewis Gray. Now coming through in lane 6, Guy Semple, Jake Gibson from the Broch, and Angus Young in 7. The whole sway of the swimmers coming down to the halfway mark. Very tight. Just below lane 6, Guy Semple, Jacob Wood, 33.23. Nice turn from the Wander swimmer. Just adds that advantage on a little bit more. tightening up over on the far side. Still Guy Semple. They're coming after him though. Angus Young in 7, Jake Gibson in 8. Looks as though it's this side of the pool where we are. Guy Semple, Angus Young and Jake Gibson. That looks to be the action. And in 2, Jamie Jardine. But Guy Semple's going to take this. Angus Young in 2nd, and in lane 8, Jake Gibson. 1:12.39 for Guy, taking 600s off that.
Again, another recent time, his entry time done at East District age groups at the Commonwealth Pool just 3 weeks ago. So nice progression from Guy there. Angus Young 2nd, as you said, and Jake Gibson 3rd. On to the cyclical seeded heats. We've got Jack Kelso going for Tynemouth in 0, Robert Burgess, City of Glasgow in 1, Cameron Mitchell of St Thomas in 2, Luke Hornsey of East Lothian in 3, Micah Van Blerk of Warrender in 4, Sam Harrison of Perth City in 5, Matthew McMillan of Incas in 6, Brandon Aitchison of Bucky in 7, Jack Mitchell of Aberdeen Performance in 8, and Jack Murphy of North Lanarkshire in lane 9. Micah Van Blerk, very much a breaststroke specialist, and he is looking very good early on in this one. East District silver medalist. He won the junior final at the Edinburgh International in March, and he is well clear of Sam Harrison, Brandon Aitchison at the halfway turn. 30.88, unsurprisingly, is quite a bit faster than anything we've seen. Going nicely, Sam Harrison is clear in 2nd, and Brandon Aitchison also going well in the white cap in lane 7, but nobody is going to get close to Micah, I don't think. The Warrender swimmer 1:07.48, the time he did at the Edinburgh International. He's going to be just a little off that maybe, but not much. 1:07.99, so very good, solid heat swim there from Micah. Sets out the standard for the 17, 18-year-olds. Beat that if you can. 2nd place was Sam Harrison, 1:09.29. Brandon Aitchison, 1:10.88 in 3rd.
On to heat number 8 in 0, Royce Crongelis, North Lanarkshire, 2, Tom Robertson, Aberdeen Dolphins, 2, Kieran Breshenser, Aberdeen Dolphins, 3, Archie Dixon, City Glasgow, 4, Hugh Maraski, Wonder Bass, 5, Conor Mitchell, Wonder Bass, 6, Jake Holmes, City of Glasgow, 7, Owen Carroll, Perth City, 8, Finn Bremner, Wonder Bass, 9, Magnus Bullock from Shetland, 36.20, Hugh Maraski. And he has a slight advantage at the moment. 6 or 7 swimmers almost in a line behind him. Teammate Conor Mitchell in 5, doing pretty well. And, as you can see, anybody's perhaps for 2nd at this early stage. Emil Maraski, Jake Holmes, Conor Mitchell, and Owen Carroll on the side nearest to us. Emil Maraski coming through strongly. Archie Dixon in 3 to try and get into the mix. There's a whole raft of swimmers. Finn Bremner going well in 8, and Owen Carroll in 7. Emil Maraski looks as though he's just hanging on to take this one. Not by much. Emil Maraski has this one in lane 7. Owen Carroll is going to get 2nd place, and in 8, Finn Bremner. That's the 1:23, 1:08.94 for Emil. Owen Carroll, 1:09.79. Finn, 1:10.15. Didn't look to be quite as relaxed, Emil, as Micah in that last race, Duncan.
No, he was about a 2nd slower. Emil beat Micah in the East District age groups 3 weeks ago. They're going to get a Warrender 1-2 there, and they'll be head-to-head again in the final here, with swimmers from this heat. But it'll be interesting to see how that works out, whether it does reverse tonight. So the final heat of the 100 breaststroke, we've got Finley Club, Aberdeen Dolphin, Max Pelosi, City of Glasgow, David Smith of Glenrothes, Evan Davison of Perth City, Matthew Garrity of Inverclyde, Murray Pritchard of Perth City, Robson Miles of City of Glasgow, Adam Scott, also City of Glasgow, Logan Ward of Aberdeen Performance, and Finlay Nelson of Dumfries. A very nice arrowhead shaping up here with lanes 4 and 5 providing the point. Matthew Garrity in the white cap and Murray Pritchard in the red. Let's see who gets the touch between them. Not a lot in it. Murray just edging at 31.77. That's the slowest of the 3 cyclic seeded heats. Matthew Garrity now picking it up though, and he's suddenly opening up a pretty sizable gap over Murray Pritchard. Matthew, winner of the youth final in the Scottish Winter Meet, second in last year's Festival of Swimming, and well, this is all about the second half from Matthew. He really turned on the pace after the turn and taking it very comfortably indeed. 1:07.40. David Smith with a good second half comes through to take second. Look at that, 36.9. You see the others behind him all in 38s. So very good second half from David as well to take second spot, 1:09.74, and Murray Pritchard leading at halfway, third at the end, 1:10.45. So 1:07.40. That is the fastest time for the 17-18. So you think it will be Matthew versus the 2 Warrender boys in that one.
He certainly looked as though he was just biding his time at the halfway mark. Didn't take it out too strongly. It was more in the tank for this evening. As we run through the placings. Top 30. And a joint 34th, a joint 38th. That might, if those are the younger age groups, we might just have a chance of a swim-off, maybe not.
No, it looks like we're okay on that front. Just looking at David Smith, that time we just saw makes him the fastest qualifier for the 16-year-olds, so he'll be pleased about that. And the fastest in the 15-year-olds, Connor Mitchell of Warrender, who's having an excellent meet. So there's going to be some good breaststroke finals, I think, from the boys, but we move on to 200 butterfly now.
Six heats ahead of us. This is the first of the heats. 8 go in our first heat. In 1, Ciara Bain from the Highland Swim Team. 2, Abby Barnstable, South Lanarkshire. 3, Illy Galt from Ithen. 4, Georgia Dickey from Dumfries. 5, Jessica Powell, Elgin. 6, Casey Drummond, Incas. 7, Iona Kasapidis from Carnegie. And in 8, Maria Howie, Aberdeen Performance. 2:44 to 2:47. So perhaps in this one it's all about just improving their entry times and seeing what happens. Georgia Dickey 33.35. All these girls either 15 or 16. 16-year-olds in 1, 3 and 6. The rest all 15.
So down the second length, certainly looking pretty good for Georgia at the moment. Things can change in the 200 butterflies. Very much one where you've got to just get your timing right, your pacing right through the early stages of the race. Hopefully Georgia has done that. There's about 4 swimmers contesting behind her, just a bit more than the body length back. 1:13.49 then, a 40.14. Fastest in that second 50 was Ciara Bain, who's currently in 3rd place. So we'll see whether she can keep that pace going and move up. But still at the moment it's looking fairly good for Georgia.
Casey Drummond coming through quite nicely in that green cap of Incas, Duncan. In lane 6, she'll make a late charge.
She's got a lot of ground to make up though. But she's in the mix for the second spot. Nice shot now of Georgia coming in towards the wall. You see that effort, concentration there, and onto the wall and off again as quickly as you can. So an intermediate split 44.5. So joint fastest with Casey, who's now into second place.
Still in there is Lane 1, Ciara Bain from the Highland Swim team. She's still in second place. I don't see the leader getting caught now. This looks pretty comfortable for Georgia.
So her entry time, Georgia, 2:44.20. So see if she can just keep this pace going and get inside there. It's going to be there or thereabouts. Let's see if she can just get underneath it. Yes, she can, by a couple of seconds. 2:42.32. So well done, Georgia. Good, well-managed swim, consistent across the 4 lengths. Ciara Bain and Casey Drummond had a good wee contest there for a second. Just went Ciara's way. Pretty much they had the length and breadth of the country in the top 3 there. From Fries up to Highland and then across in the east to Inverkeithing. Heat number 2, we've got Ellen McDonald of Geary in 0, Beth Hunter of Wren 96 in 1, India Marshall of East Lothian in 2, Erica Watt of Hearts in 3, Zara Innes of Carnegie in 4, Freya Masson of Shetland in 5, Lexine McCappin of First in 6, Katie Campbell goes for Aberdeen Dolphin in 7, and Emma Barrowman of Stranraer in lane 8, new swimmer in lane 9.
Length and breadth of the country in this one. Stranraer all the way up to Shetland. This one.
Yeah, this one beats the last one then. In that respect anyway. So it's lane 6. Lexine McCappin, 33.75. I think I've been mentioning Lexine in dispatches a few times. She's having a good meet.
Well, we get the orange cap of Stranraer. We never seem to see the orange cap of Eyemouth, Duncan.
That's because they're swimming as best in this meet. Yep. So you won't see the Eyemouth
that
orange.
That explains it.
Yeah, I've seen Eyemouth head coach Ian Pemble in his best T-shirt this weekend. And a couple of good performances. Archie Stevenson probably the standout from Eyemouth as part of the best programme. But Stranraer have had some good swims.
Yeah, that explains when I come over to the east and I see the orange cap at districts. Of course, they're swimming as a club, not as a composite. Thank you for confirming that, Duncan.
Every day's a school day.
It is, yeah, you always learn something.
And certainly pushing it out very nicely here, Lexine McCappin. The only person anywhere near is East Lothian's India Marshall in lane 2. And then the other 7 swimmers really are in a line across the pool. India just around a body length back on Lexine though, so she'll have a tough job to try and catch that. Down the last length, she's nearly 3 seconds back, so it's looking very good for Lexine to take this one. Racing just over the 40 seconds there. Entry time for Lexine 2:40, so should take a good chunk of time off that. Hopefully India can also improve her time of 2:40 as well. And then it's a scramble as to who can get third. That could be important in the younger age group. Zara Innes will be vying for a place in the 15-year-old final, but it's Lexine McCappin, 16-year-old, taking the win, getting enthusiastic applause from the first team around us. 2:35.78 for Lexine. Nice, nearly 5-second improvement.
Just a wee bit slower than her entry time was Zara Innes. Duncan, 2:39.40. She came in at 2:41. I don't know the board now, 2:41.83. So it maybe gives her a fighting chance of getting into the final in that younger age group.
I think you know her, the head coach of Zara.
I do indeed. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Robert's daughter coaching at Carnegie and doing a fine job there.
Yeah. Should I throw in Club of the Year? Scottish Club of the Year this year.
Yeah, she must have been very proud about that.
Yeah, indeed. On to heat number 3. 0 Lauren Anderson, Faulthouse Penguins. 1 Rosie Liston, City Glasgow. 2 Georgia Reid, City Glasgow. 3 Lucindia Grossa from Best. 4 Libby Doubleday, City Glasgow. 5 Charlotte Thompson, Midlothian. 6 Louise Connell, City Glasgow. 7 Helen Stoddart, East Lothian Swim Team. 8 Alison Gallagher from First. And 9 Gemma Brown from Carnegie. Nice strong start in 7 from Helen Stoddart, but you always get that, Duncan, from Helen.
Yeah, she is very much a sprinter by nature, but I think she's learning to do this 200 now, and I think this will be a deliberate strategy to push herself hard here, and I think that she could be up for a good time here.
Last couple of days when she's been in the pool, I've sort of noticed the latter stages of the race, it seems to be a bit more controlled. Okay, it's maybe a little bit slower, but as you say, I think she's got a bit more control over how she's racing.
Second last year in the Festival of Swimming, so she does have some pedigree in 200 fly swimming. Certainly a more controlled second 50 after that fast first 50, 40.2, and you see Rosie Liston about a half a second faster on her split, and Lauren Anderson putting in a fast second 50 as well in 4th place. 1:12.24 is about a second faster than Lexine's split. And they are starting to come at her now, particularly Lucy de Grosser, the best swimmer from Gala Shields, who is looking good now in lane 3. So, well, maybe I overstated what Helen Stoddart was going to be capable of. It looks like she has been overtaken now. And it is going to be Lucy now at the 150. Libby Doubleday second, Helen Stoddart back to 3rd. You can see her pacing now much slower than the other two. So 154.15 is almost identical to Lexine's split. This is looking good for Lucy going in the 16 age group, so she will be gunning for a final spot there. Libby Doubleday goes in the 17 18s, Helen Stoddart in the 15s. I'd be very surprised if she's not in the final in the 15s. And she seems to be finding a second win down this last leg to challenge Lizzie Doubleday for second place. But Lucy de Grosser bringing it in pretty comfortably, 2:36.84 for her. Half a second inside her entry time. Libby Doubleday holding on to second, Helen Stoddart in 3rd. So we go to the cycle seeded heats after this. So at 2:36.84, not as fast as Lexine McCappin in the previous heat. So that's the fastest time. And there she's 16 as well. So Lexine and Lucy will be contesting there. Just looking at how many more 16-year-olds we've got. Not too many. We've got a few, but not huge numbers in these next 3 heats.
Only maybe a couple of 15-year-olds, Duncan, 3 15-year-olds, Heidi Wren, Orla McInnes and Susan McNair. Heat 4, 0 Heidi Wren, City Glasgow, 1 Catherine Bodie from Geary, 2 Gabriella Leasing, Wren 96, 3 Holly McGill, Heart of Midlothian, 4 Isabel Wood, Stirling Swim, 5 Laura Frizzell, Heart of Midlothian, 6 Rebecca Ogier, South Lanarkshire, 7 Kirsty Gilmore, South Lanarkshire, 8 Eva Gordon, Stirling Swim, and 9 Jory Horn, City of Glasgow. 2:24 is the fastest in this one, Isabel Wood, through to 2:36.41. Isabel Wood, the early leader from Hill and McGill, 31.28. It's the first of the 3 seeded heats, Duncan, I think.
Yeah, Isabel Wood is having a very solid set of performances this week, and she's off to a good start here. Holly McGill, of course, the backstroke specialist, with that great performance last week, earning a silver medal in the 200 backstroke behind Katie Shannon. It's great to have Scots 1 and 2 in that one. Also up in the mix now and looking good is Gabriella Lessing of Ren 96. She just eases herself into the lead at the halfway mark by 500ths from Holly. 1:09.19 for her. Gabriella looking very good here. 2:30 entry time, but Holly taking it back down this third length. Well, she'll know exactly how to swim 200s. Not so much on the fly, but certainly on the backstroke. But going well here. Don't actually have any 200 fly form on Holly.
It's not something she does very often, Duncan, is it?
No, but she shows that she's pretty good at it when she does do it.
As you say, backstroke are 40. She's also pretty good in her freestyle as well, Duncan.
Yep. And
because you're coming through quite strongly in the final stages, might get us into second place.
yeah, good three-way tussle going on for second behind Holly, who's really turned it on in the second half here. Entry time 2:27.4. She's certainly going to be inside that. And as you said, Rebecca Auger strong down this last length, and in the end, well, I said it was going to be close for second. It was nothing of the kind. Rebecca completely dominant down that last 50 over Isabel Wood and Gabriella Lessing. So Holly McGill, though, 2:25.42 sets the standard for the next two heats.
Isabel Wood only third in that one on 2:31. But I'm sure Isabel maybe not putting in a sterling performance this morning just to save herself for later on.
Is that your deliberate pun there?
Yeah,
a sterling performance, well done.
Yeah.
So heat 5 waiting patiently at the blocks. Is there a little bit of a consultation going on here before we get confirmation of this result? But I think we've got it now, and there it is for you.
And I'm sure Isabel saving herself because she has a relay to come in the 17 plus, so she'll want to give it everything a little bit later.
So the lineup for heat 5, we've got Emma Finley of East Lothian in 0, Kate Cassidy, Aberdeen Performance in 1, Orla McInnes, Heart of Midlothian in 2, Millie Milne of Warrender in 3, Drew Mackenzie having a busy morning, goes in 4 for City of Glasgow, Chloe Barron likewise goes for Midlothian in 5, Rada McGregor of Warrender in 6, Emma Creaney, North Lanarkshire in 7, Iona Wilson of East Lothian in 8, and Milana Lowe of South Aberdeenshire in lane 9.
And Rada off to a good start in lane number 6, Duncan. 2:29.50 an entry time, so she's the 4th fastest in this one. Drew Mackenzie a lot faster than everyone else on a 2:20.
So that's another one, Drew, who don't really associate with 200 butterfly. But we'll see how she does. She was the silver medalist at West District age groups. It's the Rada McGregor leading her by 100th at the 50.
That's between the two coming through in 3rd place. Kate Cassidy, Aberdeen Performance. There's a whole host of swimmers all within about a body length or so, approaching at the halfway. Iona Wilson going quite nicely in lane 8.
Drew starting to open up the gap now at the halfway mark, 1:10.42. Second and a bit slower than the previous heats. And we'll see what Drew does in the second half. So 38 dead, so an easy split to remember to compare with the third one coming up. Rada McGregor being pushed by Kate Cassidy now in lane 1.
You'd expect Chloe Barron to just pick up the pace a little bit more, the Midlothian swimmer, just to ensure she's here this evening. I think this is just getting to work now. She'll go past Rada, I'm sure, in just a wee moment.
Yeah, it's been a feature of the swims of both Barron girls in 200s in particular that they've really back-ended it and been very strong down the last length, and it looks like we might be seeing that here from Chloe. So this is really a question about what Drew's time is going to be, and then who is going to get second between Kate Cassidy and Chloe Barron.
Fernanda McGregor dropping back as Emma Creaney and Iona Wilson go past in 4th and 5th.
So these minor places could be important for a second swim. Drew doesn't need to worry about that. She's in there 2:28.72. Not as fast as Holly McGill in the previous heat, but a perfectly satisfactory heat swim. And we'll be seeing her back later on. Second, Chloe Barron. So again, really good second half from the Midlothian swimmer. 2:32.46. And Kate Cassidy third, 2:33.24. Just wait for that to be confirmed, and there you have it. Thinks there's a first swimmer coming up next, because we're getting lots and lots of drums and bells and stuff.
Indeed.
Around us in the commentary position. And that first swimmer is Susie McNair, who's having such a sensational meet in lane 8.
And 0 Millie Donaghy, South Lanarkshire. 1 Holly Simpson, Aberdeen Performance. 2 Rula Gow, Geary. 3 Hannah Willis, City of Peterborough. 4 Catherine Bailey from Perth. 5 Stella McCarthy, City Glasgow. 6 Erin Taylor, Finns. 7 Lauren Clark, East Lothian. 8 Susie McNair from First. And 9 Lisa Goodbrand, Ithen. Well, the drums have stopped at the moment. Obviously Susie McNair's not in the lead. A long way to go in this one.
Yep, Catherine Bailey, probably the favourite for the 17-18 age group. This is very much up her street, 200 butterfly. Good distance freestyler as well, of course. 30.89 is the fastest 50 split we've seen, and she's opening up a pretty handy gap over Hannah Willis in lane 3, and the girls in lane 6 and 7, Erin Taylor and Lauren Clark. Erin Taylor had a cracking 200 breaststroke yesterday and came through and won that one in a very tight contest.
Yeah, that was a cracking race yesterday. Going pretty well in second place now. But you can see how relaxed Catherine is, just getting those arms over. Nice position. Nice strong kick. And 3 or 4 clear of Erin Taylor from Finns. At the moment very close for third place. 3 swimmers all pretty well bunched. Hannah Willis, Stella McCarthy, Lauren Clark.
So 1:44.68, and that is faster than we've seen by about a second and a half. Catherine will be looking to make sure she's got lane 4 in the 17-18 final. Still going very nicely in second, Erin Taylor, so she's looking set for a place in that final as well. Then behind her, it's still pretty close, 3 vying for third. Lula Gow in lane 3. Stella McCarty in 5, and Lauren Clark in lane 7, but no doubt about the win there. 2:24.01 taking top spot for the 17-18's Catherine Bailey. Second place, Erin Taylor, 2:27.96 for her. Inside her entry time, so she'll be happy about that. Stella McCarty taking third by 900ths from Hannah Willis.
That might be the fastest time in the 60-year-olds, Duncan, Stella McCarthy. Long way back, Susie McNair, entry 2:32. She finished in a 2:39. Pretty certain that will get her into a final, but maybe not in the centre lane. There's the summary.
So that's your top 3, all in the 17-18 age groups, and they'll have lanes 4, 5 and 3. And then as we roll through,
certainly Orla McInnes was a little bit higher up than Susie McNair.
Yeah, I think Orla will be the fastest qualifier in the 15-year-olds, 2:35. Heidi Rem will be pretty close with her. And the 16-year-olds, we had a 2:32 from Chloe Barron. We've got swim-off coming up now.
Indeed, we have.
And just a reminder, this is in the 50 freestyle. It's for first reserve in the 15-year-old age group. it'll be between Edward Bell of Seagulls and Zach Slater of East Lothian.
That was back to event 303 this morning.
Nearly always swimmers swim faster in a swim-off than they did in the heats. I can tell you that they were 26:29 in the heats. So will they be faster here? So we've got Edward in lane 4 and Zach in lane 5, both in black caps just to help us. And there's contrasting styles between the two of them, isn't there? Edward perhaps a slightly slower stroke, Zach going hell for leather, but there's very little to choose between them as they come here. Has Zach got the edge? Oh, I think he has. It's going to be close though, but Zach takes it. And well, what would you know, 25:30, that was a 99 hundredths faster than he was earlier. It's always the case, isn't that adrenaline of a swim-off just really brings the best out of them. Edward also considerably faster than he was, 25:66. So again, some 6/10 faster than he was earlier. So well done, guys. But Zach will be first reserve, Edward Bell second. The likelihood is that they won't either of them get a swim again, but just in case there is a withdrawal, it will be Zach who will be first in the pecking order.
Incidentally, that would have been second and third qualifying for the final. And as you say, they might not get a swim, and those swims might have got them a medal this evening. We'll wait and see that.
Yeah, there might be some conversation about that in the from the coaches. The likelihood is they're not going to get the chance. Now, from 50 free, something completely different. 1500 free.
This is where everyone at home, if you want to quickly dash, stick the kettle on, and come back and join us in the next half a minute or so. We'll get underway with our first of 3 heats, Duncan.
Yep, just the 4 swimmers, all wearing blue caps this time. We've got Jamie Gilchrist of South Lanarkshire in 3, James Boddy of Geary in 4, Gregor Skinner of first in 5, and Tom Ingalls, City of Glasgow, in lane 6.
But one's a pale blue cap, Duncan.
This is true. And the one with the pale blue cap is off to a good start. That's James Boddy from Geary, in Inverurie-based team, just north of Aberdeen. So he has the early advantage, but of course we're talking about 18 and a bit minutes of swimming here, so let's not get too excited about the speed and pacing at the 50.
We save the excitement for the final 10 metres, don't we, Duncan?
No. You build it up gradually, and let's hope for a really tight head-to-head contest here. Can't beat a good competitive 1500, I always say.
Not much between them on entry times either, Duncan.
No, so James Boddy 18:18, Greg Skinner 18:20, 18:20 as well for Jamie Gilchrist, and 18:22 for Tom. So as you say, only a few seconds between them, and that really is nothing in the context of a 1500. So, but they are giving us the arrowhead that the seeding predicts. So we'll see whether that lasts, and whether they will start to spread. Certainly James Boddy looks up for it, pacing faster, you can see, than anybody else by over half a second. 142 against 141.7 now, a second and a half between James and Gregor.
Of course, this is heat declared, Duncan. No finals for this one.
That's a shame, isn't it? We'd like to have a 1500 final. Of course, you get it in the major events. They do get a day's rest in between the heats and finals. So typically they'll swim maybe on a Wednesday for the heats and then on the Friday for the finals. So they get essentially a day and a half's rest, because of course it goes from morning to evening as well. But I guess you need that really if you're going to try and swim a distance event twice in quick succession.
72 for that last 100. So we'll see how the next one goes. If it's a similar pace, then the lads have settled into nice rhythm, and that's what you want in the early stages.
Yeah, it is very important, isn't it, to settle into a rhythm. If you start off too fast and then you start every 100, your time's just drifting away. That's quite discouraging. And of course, if you go off too slow, then you've wrecked your chances for a good time in the event. So it's a fine balance that they have to draw, knowing what they're capable of. They'll have worked at it in training, of course, and understand what pacing is right for them. Coaching staff will have helped them with that. So we'll see as we come up to 300 with James is holding that pace, 3:29.74. Now, one thing I noticed when we had the girls 1500 a couple of days ago is that the pacing going down, the one that they're on at the moment, was quite a bit faster than when they went the other way. It was almost as if they're swimming downhill now and uphill the other way. But so let's keep an eye on that. So James Waddy was a 36.8 going
Uphill?
the other way, uphill. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm expecting this to be faster here, but let's see if it is. Yes, it is, 36.02, so 0.8 faster. And 36.44 for Jamie, 36.18 for Gregor, so all pacing in the 36s here. Looks like Tom Ingles just off the pace somewhat now, so we've got the three swimmers in camera shot, led by James Boddy.
Gregor Skinner getting a little bit of encouragement from the side.
Yeah, I don't know what all those signs meant. We've got the rah-rahs performers up there as well. 36.4, so that was just 0.4 slower than the previous heat, so a good uphill swim there from James.
Indeed, indeed. Pacing around about a 72.5, so it's pretty steady pace. That's what you want in this early stage. Just try and keep that throughout if you can.
And it is amazing, you know, just a few tenths faster than your opponent, and over the lengths that just winds up, doesn't it, to a significant gap. You can see there only 0.2 between James and Jamie, but the gap just widening a little bit with each length, and now up to what, 6 meters?
Something like that, and again a little faster swimming downhill, sub 36.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about. It's definitely a thing here in Tollcross. So evens out in the end, of course, because they've got the equal number of lengths in both directions. 5:54.38 then.
Well, 36 is there, Duncan.
This time Jamie just slightly faster. So let's keep an eye on that. If he can start to pace a little bit faster than James, then that could bring him back into contention. He's got plenty of time to bring it back. Still third place, but just dropping off from the top two, Gregor Skinner. So it looks like it's going to be James and Jamie. Just check on the splits there, and James' Boddy just slightly faster once again, 35.9 against 36.1. We get color coding on the screen in the venue, and it's green if the split was faster than the previous one and red if it was slower, and that's quite helpful. And you could see certainly as swimmers all with green splits here in the venue when they went down at that downhill turn, and they'll all likely be red ones here, so it definitely is a thing. 36.5 for James, 35.5 to be precise, 36.25, so Jamie Gilchrist there picking up 0.3 in that last length, so nicely done from him into the 650 length now. So this is certainly not over as a contest. It's less than 3.5 seconds between the two boys in their age groups, different age groups. James Boddy in the 15 age group and Jamie Gilchrist in the 16. So from that point of view, it's not a contest, but they won't view it like that. They'll definitely be seeing it as a race against each other. Pretty much the same splits there, both in the low 36s. So as you were, nothing really changing.
I think the pace just a little bit under 18 minutes, Duncan, for the leader at the moment. Potential finish time. Jamie will want to get as much inside 18 minutes as the have 4 swimmers in that 15-year-old age category coming up. 2 of them over 18 minutes and 2 under, so give them half a chance of maybe medaling.
So about a 10th advantage to Jamie in that last split. Nice tidy turn that you got that close-up view of for James. And of course, there's tidy turns and push-offs. Very important because you got so many of them. If you're not really good and strong in your approach into the wall and your push off it, then that's going to be to your disadvantage. Absolutely the same times there. 35.98 from both of them. So
that's halfway, Duncan. Just under 9 minutes for both boys.
All to play for really here. This is a good contest. I mean, it looks like quite a big gap, but with 700 meters still to go, there's plenty of time if Jamie can pull it up. 35.9 for James.
Now he's gained a second, Duncan.
Ooh,
that's a big jump at this stage.
Yeah, that could be critical, you would think. Maybe that's a sign that Jamie is just finding this pace hard to keep going. We'll keep it. Maybe it's a blip. We'll keep a close eye on this next one and see if there is a big gap. Does certainly look visually that that gap now is starting to grow. Let's see as this turn, 35.7 for James. 36.6, so again another nearly a second.
Yeah, indeed. Certainly Jamie getting plenty of encouragement over on that far side. South Lanarkshire boy. So about 5 seconds back. This is that gap's being extended, Duncan.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. Certainly looked for a big chunk of this race that it might be competitive. It's looking less so now. You can see 36.3 and 36.9 their respective splits. You can see there lane 5, Gregor Skinner now a long way back. I see heading up to the start wall as the others make their way back. And there you can see Tom Ingalls another, what, 15-20 meters back.
Jamie's got to find roughly a second for each of the final 600s to literally get back on terms. Let's see what the split is, 35.23. If anything, James might even be picking up the pace that little bit more. 37.16, well, it's now getting out of hand, I think, for Jamie to claw that back now.
But then the thing is about swimming his race, remembering what he's been told by his coach. No, don't worry about what James is doing. Just focus on your own race. But this is looking really good from James Boddy. I think there's every chance he's going to go comfortably under the 18 minutes. Let's see, 11:54.23 at the 1,000 mark, and we're looking at something maybe could get under 17:50 here if he can keep this pace going. So that would be excellent stuff. Entry time 18:18.
This section of the race, the key part, Duncan, the next 200 to 300 metres to keep this pace going and just gradually build to a strong finish.
Yes, if you break it into 500-meter chunks, I guess your first 500 is very much about getting into a pattern, getting a nice stable pace. Second 500, maybe sustaining that, perhaps building it a bit, and then the third 500, use what you've got left to just drive it on a little bit in each length. If you can get a little bit faster on each length, then it all adds up into, I mean, what people really like to see is negative splitting the 1500, overcoming the impact of the dive at the beginning of it in the second half to bring it home. So another good 35.6 there, 13, just shy of 13.05. As we have 400 to go now, and we're still looking at like we could have a sub 1750 here.
Certainly dropped from a 72 down to around a 71 pace now.
So that's exactly what you want to see, isn't it? And if he could get that now to down towards the 70, then that would be even better. You see, very much.
That's a very strong 50 Duncan, 34.39. So it looks as though he may still have a fair bit in the tank, because we've still got roughly a quarter of the race ahead of us.
He's looking very comfortable, isn't he? He's clearly working hard. Those legs are working hard and quite a fast stroke rate, but he's looking controlled as within it. And, let's see what this split gives us. So 36 there, so we must be around that 110. 14.15 with 300 to go. So if you put three 110s together on a 14.15, you've got fourth. 17.45. That could be doable. Sprint at the end.
Certainly can be doable. Still 50, well, he's 15 this year, Duncan, so there might still be a fair bit of energy, a lot of adrenaline still to come through in the last 200 or 300 metres, another 35.62. Well, maybe just dropped a little bit that last 50 downhill, so to speak.
Yeah, 35.6, so I'm looking to see if there's Geary, his coach is on poolside giving him any help. Certainly somebody over on the far side, and you see they're giving that wave in the dark blue, and do you call it orange? What do you call it? No, yellow, isn't it?
I'd say that's a deep yellow.
Yeah. So 15, 26, 200 to go.
70, roughly 71 again there, Duncan.
So we're certainly looking good for under 1550, 1750, I mean. 1745 might be a stretch. We'll see. You can see he's coming up now to potentially lap Tom in lane 6.
Might give him a wee bit impetus, Duncan, when you see another swimmer. Psychologically, you see, oh right, I want to get past him and lap him. And maybe that's happening. 34.98. Some chance of getting close to that 17.45. Nice camera shot, Duncan.
Yeah, look at the work he's putting in. I mean, over all this time of swimming,
the legs are really going still very strongly. And yeah, I think he's got the bit between his teeth. The bell coming now, and as he goes past Tom Ingles, 35.16. Well, somewhere around a 108, so if he can come down around about 34 seconds and finish on maybe a 33, high 33, 17.45 will be a nice wee target for the four lads, or 15-year-olds in heat number 2.
So the clock just going into the 17 minutes now with 10 metres of this penultimate length to go for James. So a 34 there, and if he can manage an uphill 34, he'll be there thereabouts. shouldn't really be calling it uphill and downhill, but there's definitely something going on.
Well, it's certainly giving everything. 33.67 would be nice or better.
He definitely is picking up the pace here. I think
it's certainly 17:40, sub 17:45, Duncan. Comfortably. 33.12 to finish with. And that's a great swim. 17:44.44.
34 seconds knocked off his time. Now we're seeing Jamie Gilchrist there. He's looking a wee bit weary. A great effort in the first half of the race to try and stay with James. Maybe just paying for that. Entered 18:20. Let's see what his time is.
Inside that, Duncan, yeah.
Nicely inside, 18:14. Here's the first swimmer, Gregor Skinner. So going past the halfway marker there. Again, another one who's looking fairly weary. But the end is nigh. Into the final 5 for Gregor. 18:45 for him. And a half a length to go for Tom. Also looking a bit weary. The City Glasgow swimmer. Not really been his day today. Entered 18:22, but nowhere near that today, I'm afraid. So he will complete this first of the 3 heats in 19:10.
One of the issues, of course, Duncan, they've not had very much chance to do distance freestyle. When we did come back to the pool, it was very much 50s, 100s, then gradually built at 200, 400, but it's only this last couple of months that they've had the occasional opportunity to do some distance stuff in the pool.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And does mean that they've not had much chance to put their race strategies into execution outside a training environment.
And not getting the chance to swim against other swimmers from other clubs in a competitive environment. So it's not easy, but well done to the first 2 lads getting inside, well inside their entry times. On to the second of our 4 heats. And we'll keep an eye on the 15-year-olds. Callum Gold in 0, Aberdeen Dolphins. 1, Thomas Traynor, South Lanarkshire. 2, Jack Mitchell, Aberdeen Performance. 3, Old Shepherd, Perth City. 4, Jack Simpson, South Lanarkshire. 5, Fraser Tetlow, Geary. 6, Leighton Burr, Aberdeen Performance. 7, Kai Connolly, City of Glasgow. 8, Ewan Jones, West Lothian. And 9, Dan Hall, Aberdeen Performance. Well, the outside lanes are the ones to keep an eye on for the 15-year-olds. 0 and 1 over on that far side are both 15-year-olds. They've got going off fairly nicely. In lane 9, Dan Hall, another 15-year-old, and that blue cap, maybe the leader in lane 7, Kai Connolly. Kai Connolly may well have a good scrap with Thomas Traynor over on the far side. The 2 West District boys are the fastest under 18 minutes. Little lanes at the moment. Jack Simpson, South Lanarkshire. Old Shepherd, Perth City. In the 16-year-old category. The rest of the swimmers, Duncan, are all 16, so we only have a number of older swimmers in our last heat. We will be all vying for medals. Jack Simpson, 1:36.51, by about half a second from Kai Connolly.
Yes, just to confirm that, it looks like there are no 15-year-olds in the final heat, so the 15-year-old gold medal likely to be settled here. As James Boddy has set the standard, 17:44.44. And the swimmers who are 15, Callum Gold, Thomas Traynor, Kai Connolly and Dan Hall. So they all need to get inside James's time. The other 16-year-olds, there's 16-year-olds still to come in the next heat, quite a few of them, so they're just going to set the best time they possibly can, see where that serves them in the end. Jack Simpson, one of them, leading the way. Will Shepherd, another. And at the moment, it looks like these two, along with Kai Connolly in lane 7. There's confirmation of that. Not too much separating them, less than a second. And Kai Connolly, in fact, with the fastest intermediate split there. Down at the bottom of your screen, relative to these top 3. Then in the yellow cap in lane 5 is Geary's Fraser Tetlow. Then up at the top of your screen, Thomas Traynor and Callum Gould. Still fairly close. So this is shaping up to be quite a good one.
It is indeed. Kai Connolly will be my favourite. I know that he went out pretty strongly to begin with, but he'll be the favourite to take the 15-year-old title as the fastest entry time. Has been swimming pretty well at Western States recently. Fair way clear of Thomas Traynor in lane 1. Callum Gould not that far behind Thomas in lane 0. There's another couple of 15-year-olds. 2 middle lanes, or rather lanes 4 and 3. Jack Simpson, Will Shepherd, pretty much together with Kai Connolly a little bit further back. So we're on just over 25% of the race, coming down to the 400 mark. And Kai Connolly well inside the pace at the moment. 4:42 was the split at 400 for our 50-year-olds, and both Thomas and Callum over in 1 and 2, also inside that time by quite a margin. So it may well be that lanes 7, 1 and 0 may well end up first, second and third in the 50-year-olds, Duncan. I know it's still fairly early on.
It is, but Kai has got quite a significant advantage in that 15-year-old contest, and now just starting to open up a bit of a gap in the front. In lane 4 is Jack Simpson over Will Shepherd, so that gap now about 1.8, and you can see their big difference in their splits there. So again, we need to see whether Will Shepherd can regroup and bring his pacing up to match Jack's. It's a bit like what we saw with James and Jamie in the last heat. Jamie kept up with James pretty well for a good chunk of the race, and then it just became too much. So Jack there, 34.89, another quarter of a second faster than Will there. Kai Connolly not too far away from Will now. And then we'll see if the gap between the top 3 and 4th and 5th does change at all. There you can see the 4th and 5th swimmers. In the yellow cap, Fraser Tetlow and Thomas Traynor in lane 1, as we switch now to a nice shot of Jack absolutely soaking the camera in his turn. Hope we got good waterproof cameras there. You can see the cameraman Aidan there, I think, shaking himself off there after that one. Maybe he'll not be doing that again. Well done, Aidan. And meanwhile, it does look like maybe Will is settling in now and not letting Jack get too far away. We'll just get a view of the splits now. As they're back to the front end at 600 meters. So 35.0, 35.2, so still
pretty steady.
Yeah, quarter of a second in it, but those quarter of a seconds do add up. But we're talking about a gap of what, 2.4 between Jack and Kai Connolly, who's now just by a 10th, took second spot there.
Just get the impression Kai Connolly's swimming better downhill than uphill. He's certainly making a little bit of headway. Well, 3/4 of a second virtually took out of the lead.
Yeah, so he's clearly feeling pretty good here. The City of Glasgow swimmer, member of the Scottish junior team, was a top 8 placing in the Scottish winter meet in an open competition. So we've talked about it before, that Scottish distance swimming is not in a hugely great place at the moment. So it's good to see some of these youngsters coming through, and hopefully they can really dig in and over the next few years up the quality of our distance boys and girls. And Kai could well be one of them. Jack Simpson could as well, of course, only a year older and still holding the advantage, but he definitely is opening the gap up over Will Shepherd, which is really his race. 8:34 for Jack, 8:36 for Kai, 8:38 for Will. And you can see there that Will's split about a second slower than the two in front of him. But Kai is staying very much with Jack Simpson here, and while they are in different age groups, they will treat this as a race. And Kai maybe will just fancy his chances to come up and go past Jack as this race progresses. Clearly is looking good. He's looking very comfortable in his strokes.
Another half a second gained there, Duncan. So it's building up quite nicely. Just to keep you in the picture, Kai Connolly well on course to take the gold in the 50-year-old category. We have Thomas Traynor, who is probably about 8 seconds inside the time for the silver medal, and Callum Galt also just maybe a couple of seconds inside for bronze, but Callum Galt certainly has some work to do in the second half of the race if he wants to ensure he finishes faster than 17:44.44. Just keep an eye on that, maybe another couple of 100 metres.
So we've got good, nice close-up shots of our two leaders there, and you can see the gap is continuing to shrink. Both looking pretty comfortable in their strokes, but maybe particularly Kai. Kai's teammates there giving him the waves and the encouragement, and another course for a second knocked out of that lead. It's only just over half a second now that Jack has. Will is hanging in there in lane 3.
Certainly is. Still a wee bit behind, but you're right, Duncan. He's maybe 5 or 6 metres back.
So we'll see whether he can find a second wind in these latter stages of this race. It is getting tighter and tighter now at the front. Just 2/10 now in it. 11:00 for Will, so he's only 4 seconds back, and it was more than that, so he's still got time to mount a challenge perhaps on Jack Simpson. Be quite a big comeback job if he was able to do that, but Jack maybe just struggling a little bit now. Kai has gone past him.
Certainly Will Shepherd took just a fraction out of Jack's time, and he's taken more than a fraction, almost half a second, so closing a little bit, Duncan, down to around 3.5 seconds.
It's a good turn from Jack there though, and brought him back up with Kai, so maybe he's aware of the threat, maybe just doesn't want to see the young whippersnapper, the 15-year-old, go past him. So let's just see how this progresses. The two of them again are going to turn together. Jack this time getting the touch by 400s, 35.0s. He definitely has picked up the pace again now. We'll see if he can sustain it. It's one thing when you see somebody challenging you to pick up your pace. It's another thing to hold that picked up pace.
Kai Connolly looks as though he's decided, I've had enough of this, I'm off. I think he's gone into the lead again, Duncan. We'll see what happens when they swim back the other end. Well, in fact, I thought Kai had gone ahead, he maybe had, but Jack's just fought back. And going a little bit faster than Mo again.
Yeah, he definitely has found some extra something to try and stay with Kai. And that certainly is helping his cause in the contest against Will. And that lead starting to grow again in that one, but it's now Kai a second faster than Jack, so maybe Jack just can't hold that pace. We'll see. So that was 11:50, 3:50 to go.
Thomas Traynor certainly, I think, is going to take second place in the 15-year-old age group. He's fourth at the moment. Callum Gold is in danger of not getting a time to get that third place. He's got about a second extra to find now.
So we'll see them into shot as we follow Kai and Jack up the pool there. You can see in lane 1 and lane 0, Thomas and Callum going in the other direction. So Kai now with maybe a meter's advantage. And maybe it's time to build that now.
Well, Thomas Traynor will have to maintain a strong finish. He has about 4-second advantage at the moment. Callum Gold is probably about 2.5 seconds back, so every chance that first swim that we had from James Bodie is going to guarantee him at least a bronze, and depending on what Thomas Traynor does in the latter stages, that might just manifest a silver. Kai Connolly has always been a good distance swimmer at a young age, and it's great to see him still continuing on that trend. As you say, Duncan, we don't got blessed with too many distance swimmers at the moment. Kai Connolly has got about 1.5 seconds advantage now. 15:03. It's around 17 seconds faster than the previous splits. Thomas Traynor certainly has his work cut out. Thomas in danger of maybe having to settle for a bronze.
So as we just focus on the leaders, as I appreciate that's what you can see on the screen. So Kai 15:38 now has broken clear of Jack Simpson, around 3-4 meters, and Will still in shot there, but a fair way back from Jack Simpson, getting down to the serious end of this. And the bells come out. Kai Connolly going through in 16:14. Jack Simpson 16:16, so a 1:10 finish would be a 17:24. Kai entered 17:49. Could maybe get closer to the 17:20 if he can really blitz it. Similarly for Jack, he was entered 17:25, so he'll be there or thereabouts, I would think. Will was entered 17:34, so he, I think, could well get inside that. 50 to go, still 3 seconds between Kai and Jack, and we focus there on Kai. He's put in a really good effort here. So the 15-year-old, this is a gold medal winning swim from Kai Connolly. So coming up towards the 17:20, can he just nick in inside it? It's going to be tight. I think it'll just slip by, but an excellent swim, 17:22.65. Jack Simpson, 17:24.92, just nicks inside his entry time. Will Shepherd, he had a good finish, 17:27.85. He improves by about 6 seconds. Now here come the 4th and 5th, and this is potentially the silver medalist.
No, I think bronze medalist here. Bronze medalist is Thomas Traynor, 17:46.55, 17:44.44 was the time for James Bodie from Geary. So a cracking swim from him in that first heat. Has rewarded himself with a silver medal. Thomas Traynor from South Lanarkshire. Once those are confirmed, Duncan, we're jumping ahead of ourselves, obviously, but it looks like Thomas Traynor will be the bronze medalist.
A good swim from him, 17:46, 13 seconds inside his entry time, so we'll be happy enough with that, I would think.
Same true for Callum Gold, 17:51, although not medaling, improving by about 10 seconds. In fact, by about 18 seconds there, Duncan, 18:09.
So confirmation there, Kai Connolly, 17:22.65, takes the win there, and the gold in the 15 age group. Jack Simpson sets the standard for the 16-year-olds, 17:24.92 for him. But here's the lineup for the 3rd and final heat of this 1500. We've got Ewan Walker of ran 96 in 0, Angus Johnson of City of Glasgow in 1, Ben McLaughlin of Geary in 2, John Taylor, Aberdeen Performance in 3, Andrew Bertoli going for City of Glasgow in 4, Luke Hornsey of East Lothian in 5, Scott Fleming, South Lanarkshire in 6, Archie Dixon of City of Glasgow in 7, Mark Scott of Finns in 8, and Kyle Mitchell in lane 9 for Geary. So we talked about Andrew Bertoli's versatility. I don't have any form for him on a 1500, but he's got the fastest entry time, 16:23. Luke Hornsey, an experienced distance swimmer, did a 16:30 last week in the British Championships, was a bronze medalist in the Scottish Winter Meet in open competition last December, so he'll be a contender here. On the other side, John Taylor, another experienced distance man from Aberdeen Performance in the pink cap. So there, you would think would be the fancied one. Scott Fleming has had some good swims last night, a couple of silver medals, so he could be in the frame as well.
He's got a black cap of East Lothian again to go for. Luke Hornsey beside him in lane 5.
Yes, East Lothian was a bit his nemesis
it was just a bit
yesterday.
Yeah, he had a cracking swim in that 200 butterfly, went out extremely strongly and put Stefan Kravitz under a wee bit of pressure, and it was late on before Stefan finally got into the groove and just got past him in the last 10 metres.
Just to go through the age groups, the 16-year-olds in this one, Ben McLaughlin in lane 2, Luke Hornsey in 5, Scott Fleming in 6, and Mark Scott in 8. The others all in the 17-18, so... Oh, Kyle Mitchell as well, my apologies to Kyle, the Geary swimmer in lane 9. He's also in the 16 age group. So in a way,
So
this is a race, yep. Andrew Bertoli and John Taylor contesting the 17-18 ones, and very close, and then behind them Luke Hornsey and Scott Fleming contesting the 16-year-olds. So 2 races for the price of 1 for you here.
And on paper, big gaps on entry times. Duncan, Andrew 16:23, John 16:46. Similarly, Luke Hornsey 16:37, and Scott 16:56. But it doesn't always work out that way. Tactics have a lot to play in these races. Both Luke and Scott look pretty relaxed. Let's do John and Andrew, to be fair. Another good race between Archie Dixon and Mark Scott in 7 and 8, although different age groups.
And lanes 1 and 2.
different age groups. Always good to have someone with you to race with. Maybe not at the end.
Oh, I don't know. It just encourages you to that final sprint. As long as you're the one that wins it in the end, then you can be happy. Andrew Bertoli just edging it at the moment from John Taylor, and Luke Hornsey just edging it from Luke Fleming, but there's still plenty to play for in both of those contests. Be interesting to see whether the 17, 18-year-olds just pull away from the 16-year-olds as this race progresses. It's a gap of, what, 4 meters now between the two pairs.
Well, in theory, Luke Hornsey on paper should be in second place at the end. There is a fair way back. Maybe just thinking, well, the only person I have to beat to get the gold is Scott Fleming, and Scott in a similar vein of thought, I'm sure.
Yeah, I suspect that there is very much a race strategy for all of these guys, and with Luke, I think it will be about steady in the first half, and probably for Scott as well. So they may well start to challenge the two older swimmers as we go. Andrew looking so cool. He could just carry on doing this for hours at that pace. 33.33, a second faster than John Taylor there, and he is starting to open up that gap. Still only a meter or so between Luke and Scott. I wouldn't be surprised if those two gradually claw back towards John Taylor.
Angus Johnson, Ben McLaughlin in 1 and 2 almost together in 5th and 6th, and actually 3rd in the respective age groups. They're a couple of seconds ahead of Archie Dixon and Mark Scott in 7 and 8, who would then be vying for that bronze medal. I'm not out in your caption at the moment, but just for everyone who's listening in, just keep you updated on that.
So Bertoli taking charge, I think, is the phrase here, looking to add to his gold medal tally, which is pretty considerable. So we see John Taylor coming through the turn, then Luke Hornsey. And you see now that Luke Hornsey is definitely closing in on John Taylor, just on the left of your screen, as Andrew Bertoli. It's a bit early to say he's got it in the bag as we're coming up to 600 meters, but that's how it feels.
At the moment, Scott Fleming, you don't know the tactics that Scott's been asked to race from Andy Figgins and the team, but he's not headed Luke at the moment. We're just wanting to stick with him as long as he can. I know on paper he's about 20 seconds further back. And so what happens in the next 10, 11 minutes?
The two of them certainly had a good contest last night in the 400 freestyle. Luke just coming up in front on that one, but Scott certainly made him work for it.
Again, similar tactics like, in that 400 to what we've got today. In the butterfly, Scott decided, I'm going to try and take this from the front. But the second race, it was bide your time and try and take it from behind, and just didn't quite have enough. Maybe it's similar tactics in this 1500. Andrew looking good, doesn't he?
So just focusing on his times there, 32.5 there. And we're looking at times of 16:15-ish at the moment. But he's gradually getting faster and faster. Entry time 16:23. So this, I think, clearly Andrew is taking this very seriously to try and put in a good marker time. As I said, don't have any 1500 freestyle form for him. He's not appearing in the 2022 rankings for this, but this will certainly put him well up there, I would think, for his age group. in the British rankings if he can keep this pace going. And certainly I can't see any reason why he can't. He's been gradually upping the pace. Only swimmer in your shot now as we get a close-up of his turn. So relaxed looking, 32.5, so 65s if he keeps that pace.
John Taylor dropped down to fourth now. The race certainly on. Scott Fleming won't want Luke Hornsey to get that much further ahead. There's a couple of seconds or so between the two.
Yeah, so we should get a shot of that when we see Andrew Paterli turn, and he'll pull away from the wall, and we'll see Luke and Scott coming in towards it. And there you can see them. So the gap is probably the biggest it's been so far in this race, a bit more than a body length. And then John Taylor in fourth, and then those swimmers on the far side not far away. Lane 1, Angus Johnson ahead of Ben McLaughlin in lane 2, and they're not far behind John Taylor, so they could contest for the silver in the 17-18 age group. They have to beat the time set by Jack Simpson.
17:24.92.
Thank you.
At the moment, Angus Johnson a little bit behind John Taylor for potentially moving into that second place. Ben McLaughlin in lane 2, I think, is comfortably third in the 16-year-old category, Duncan.
Yeah, looks that way. He would have to beat Kai Connolly's time, 17. Oh no, that's the 15-year-old time. To beat Jack Simpson's 17:24. But we don't actually have any 17-18s
No, we don't.
so far, so it all gets decided in the pool in this heat.
You can see Luke Hornsey, that gap certainly opened up quite a bit now. Scott Fleming with a fair bit to do. 17:35.75 at 9:50, 17:39.04. Well, over 3 seconds, Duncan. Still doable, but kind of get the feeling that Luke Hornsey's just gradually building that up a little bit. A 33.65. Scott Fleming 33.72. The last 50 between those two.
So 32 point there, so we're still on sort of around 65 pace for Andrew here.
And 33.98 that last 50 for Luke Hornsey, whereas Scott Fleming 34.90, so another second gained by the Slovene swimmer. Certainly tightening up over on that far side. John Taylor just holds third. Ben McLaughlin and Angus Johnson almost within about a metre or so. And Bertoli still well clear as we reach the 1100 metre mark.
And you see he's done some lapping there. Lane 9, Kyle Mitchell has suffered that.
Seeing the caption there, Luke Hornsey, Scott Fleming. I don't think Scott's going to come back on that one, Duncan.
No, and you can see there.
Ben McLaughlin, the yellow cap from Geary.
Yep, the 16-year-old gone past the 18-year-old at John Taylor, and Angus Johnson is chasing him as well. So as we see the swimmers on the far side from time to time, we'll try and keep tabs on that one. But this is all about Andrew Bertoli, really. 33.0 for that last split. You see now 3:50 to go. So just trying to do some mental math. So if he's just over the 30 minutes at the 1200s, then we're looking at possibly getting down to around about the 16:10 mark, maybe, or slightly over. Let's see if he can do that.
I'll make it in the caption. Lanes 3 and 1. Ben McLaughlin in 2 certainly has gone past Angus and John. You see the yellow cap He's well clear now, Duncan, so he looks pretty comfortable for at least third place. John Taylor and Angus Johnson separated by possibly about half a body length for the second place in the older age group. As we say, this is all about Andrew Bertoli coming down with 250 to go. 17:37.62.
And Luke Hornsey there, you can see now, has completely moved away from Scott Fleming, so he's pretty much got the 16-year-old title in the bag to add to his 400 win.
Is there nothing between Angus and John? Ben McLaughlin has a fair bit still to make up on Scott Fleming. Some 4 seconds with 250 to go. Still possible that he could do that, but you can see in the caption Scott Fleming going out the picture, and it looks like Angus Johnson over that far side just ahead now in second place from John Taylor. Andrew Bertoli, 150 to go.
So another 33, so been really consistent in that area.
Well, we talked about negative splits. It doesn't happen very often, but this is the exception to the rule. Andrew Bertoli has done that last night in the 400. There's every chance he might just do this in the 1500.
So
Bell out to come.
So let's see, 15:17. So interesting to see when does he go into sprint mode? It'll he?
Well, he needs to go to sprint mode now and come back on a 102. I don't think he'll do it, but
no, I think he will. So let's see. I'm putting my money on Andrew doing that. I think we may well find that he's got something and really to pick up the pace, because we know that he's good at the shorter distances. And clearly you have to be able to go at a much faster pace than this at those distances. So let's see, 33 there, so
27, 28 and a half.
Sub 30 here.
Yeah.
Let's see. So those legs not really going just yet. Will he pick them up in these last half length? Maybe not. Maybe he's just going to say, right, I'm well inside my entry time. 16:20 is just going to slip by. So again, you win, Robert. A good swim. What a good swim. 16:22.42. So just inside his entry time by about a second and a half. Here's Luke Hornsey coming in. So his entry time was 16:37.
Maybe pretty close to that. I think Duncan maybe just a couple of seconds over it.
So into the last meter. So gold medalist in the 16 age group, 16:44.66. Here comes Scott Fleming. He was entered 16:56, and he comes in just inside that. Then it is Ben McLaughlin.
John Taylor just got back into silver medal position. He wasn't with 100 to go, but just showed his ability to come back. 29.92. Angus Johnson 31.10. That was the difference in that last 50, Duncan, between silver and bronze.
So we'll wrap that up shortly, but it certainly looks like in the 15 age group it's Kai Connolly, James Boddy and Thomas Traynor. In the 16s, Luke Hornsey, Scott Fleming and Ben McLaughlin. And in the 17-18s, Andrew Bertoli, John Taylor and Angus Johnson. But we will confirm that once everybody's in. Just one last encouragement for Geary's Kyle Mitchell there. Come on, you can do it. You're nearly there. So we will complete this. Relays come after this. So there's always some good excitement there. We've got girls 17 and over and 14 to 16 4x100 freestyle relays coming up next. But we are done now with the 1500s, just waiting for the wrap up of that third heat. As we called it, 16:22.42 then for Bertoli, Warmsey and Fleming, the top three in the heat. And just running through the full rankings as the top 10, not separated by age group on these screens, but you'll get that from Meet Mobile and from Swim Scotland. If you want to see exactly where your favourite swim-up finished.
So as you say, Duncan, we move on to our relay teams. South Aberdeenshire in 0, Perth City in 1, East Lothian in 2, City of Glasgow in 3, Aberdeen Performance 4, Warnder in 5, South Ayrshire 6, Stirling in 7, North Lanarkshire in 8 and East Lothian in 9. Aberdeen Performance yesterday won the medley in the older age group. They've got the big guns again. Esmond Perry, Emily Grant, Guy Alcaraz and Yvonne Brown. Strong start from City Glasgow, Duncan. I won't say to a flyer, but they're off very strongly. I suspect that's Katie Shanahan leading them off.
Yep, so no great surprise, I guess, to see her in the front of this race at the first changeover. Williamson taking it on in first place, Aberdeen Performance second, and Warrender third at the first changeover. Warrender with Sophie Hall now taking it on, and Aberdeen Performance with Emily Grant. We saw a great medley performance from the Aberdeen Performance team yesterday. They got a senior team here. This is the one event where if you're over the age of 18, you can compete here in the national age groups to get a qualifying time for the British Summer Championships. And Aberdeen Performance certainly will have done that, I'm sure, in the medley relay, and they'll be looking to have a team in this 4x100 free as well. Emily Grant, they're probably not as strong a team on freestyle as they were on medley, but they've got some really good fly, breaststroke, backstroke swimmers, but they're going well.
Guy Alcaraz for Aberdeen Performance, Jory Horn for City Glasgow. Seen Jory earlier on have a good swim in the 400. She's trying hard to stick with Gaia. And Wander with Natasha Simpson. South Ayrshire, Olivia Payton. That looks to be where the action is for the first 3 or 4. South Ayrshire just dropping back a little bit. Wander now fairly comfortable, at least in third. It's Aberdeen Performance that look the slightly winners now. Yvonne Brown, good breaststroke and butterfly swimmer, but her freestyle's not that bad. She'll have to be on her game to bring this one home. Drew McKenzie will go in for City Glasgow, and Warrender with Olivia Mason, Duncan.
Yeah, this could get quite tight. I think Drew will be the faster freestyler compared with Yvonne, so she may well come back. Yvonne more suited to the longer distances. This is just a dip in the water for Yvonne, and you can see that Drew is pushing to try and close the gap down. Warrender, Olivia Mason on the anchor for them. Let's see what the gap is. Well, we're not seeing it coming up on the screen there, but I can tell you it's 3:24.7 against 3:26.3.
Both almost identical splits down that first 50, and Yvonne's holding it pretty well together, Duncan.
Yeah, she is. Look at those fantastic leg power there from Yvonne. You know you're always going to get 100% from Yvonne, and you certainly did in that one. So 3:54.94. We obviously got a bad touch with somebody getting out the water in 0, so ignore that time. City of Glasgow there, 3:56.68 in second. Warrender, 4:00.16 in third. So good effort there from the Aberdeen performance team. They won their second relay gold. City of Glasgow will pick up the silver, and it will be bronze to Warrender. Two heats now in the 14 to 16 age groups. We see that one just summarized. There's with the names of the anchor swimmers. So in this first heat, it's all about setting the standard. West Lothian in 0, Dundee City Aquatics in 1, Eithin in 2, Best in 3, City of Glasgow in 4, Stirling Swim in 5. That's City of Glasgow B team, by the way. City of Glasgow C team in lane 6, Mulgai and Bearsden in 7, North Lanarkshire in 8, and South Aberdeenshire in lane 9. This is the last race of what's been a busy morning, Robert.
There's two more ahead of us, 100 free, 4x100 free. And over on the far side, perhaps lane 0, Lucy Stoves, Natalie Marshall, Swim West Lothian coming through now strongly is Stirling Swim with Melissa Turnbull. It's Stirling with the advantage at the 50. Over on the far side, Swim West Lothian, and in lane 6, City Glasgow, Rosie Liston. The West Lothian team still going pretty well over on that far side. Might just be shading it. Natalie Marshall having a good lead off, and she'll pass on to Elena Balanoska. Stirling Swim will have useful Perry Scobie going in, and City Glasgow, Victoria Niven, Logan Bearsden, Ailey McNair. So Swim West Lothian got a second advantage at the 100, Duncan.
Yes, so really pushing it on now. It'll be interesting to see if Ella Balanoska can hold on to this. Certainly they've set off very nicely here. Stirling, Perry Scobie, City of Glasgow B with Talia Blackley as your front three, and I think it is tightening up. West Lothian are being caught here. Their lead now just 12 hundredths at the 150. And 30.9 there split. City of Glasgow, they're 29.5. So the front three all bunching up. Also the City of Glasgow C team going well. Victoria Niven putting in a good leg for them. They're in 4th place, but still up there and going nicely is West Lothian. They are hanging in there on the far side at the top of your screen. So halfway mark. Bit of a leisurely takeover there, but Melissa Mainwaring on the 3rd leg, so 2:06.81 is the split at the halfway point. City of Glasgow in 2nd and 3rd now, with Coco Croxford for the B team and Alice Cumming for the C team. You'd think Coco Croxford and Melissa Mainwaring, that's a pretty good contest, both very fine athletes coming up and trying to get back into contention. Tara Montgomery for Stirling.
Lovely turn there for Melissa. Just got that little bit extra momentum off the wall and extending that lead for the West Lothian team. And this looks very promising. But City Glasgow have got Amy McLeod, the breaststroke specialist, to finish the job for them. Amy Murray for Swim West Lothian, and every chance the outside lane might just sneak this one.
So final handover, 3:08.53, a very nice sub 62 there from Melissa on that 3rd leg. Now taking it over is Amy Murray for West Lothian, tasked with trying to bring this one in, but I think she's going to have some pressure put on her by Amy McLeod for the Glasgow B team. Glasgow C team still holding 3rd with Melissa Meny ahead of Stirling's Eva Gordon, and others not far away. Lane 3 is Borders with Tilly Lakey, and just ahead of them, well, they're just ahead of Dundee City Aquatics with Chloe McLean, but it's now City of Glasgow steaming through here to take the win. Looks like it's going to be a City of Glasgow 1-2 at that. So Amy McLeod and Melissa Menny doing it for City of Glasgow. Can West Lothian hang in there? Let's get in the top 3. It's going to be certainly City of Glasgow B team to bring this penultimate race of the morning to a close. 4:14.69 is the time for the second heat. It is the C team taking second, 4:18.86, and West Lothian just hanging on to third ahead of Best in 4:20.84.
Yeah, what killed that was Swim West Lothian maybe not having the same depth that City of Glasgow have. But great race there, just holding on for third place.
Yeah, and just see that depth. I mean, we're still to see their A team and showing really good, solid performances from B team and C team. So 12 girls competing for City of Glasgow in this 14-16 relay. That's the lineup for the last race of the day, or the morning rather. Aberdeen Dolphin in 0, Warrender in lane 1. That's their A team. 2 is Warrender B team, in fact, in lane 1. South Lanarkshire in 2. First in 3. Warrender A team in 4. Hearts in 5. City of Glasgow A team in 6. South Ayrshire in 7. East Lothian in 8. And Fauldhouse Penguins in lane 9.
Tollcross Penguins and Warrender Baths 4 and 9, Duncan.
So first to turn Warrender, 29.21, 4/10 up on that fast start from Jessica Heats for Fauldhouse in lane 9. Beside them, Tegan Black for East Lothian in 3rd place. Looks like, well, is Tegan in the lead for, or rather Jessica, I should say. It's tight. No, I think it probably is still Warrender. Also going 1 in lane 0 is Isabella Abernethy for Aberdeen Dolphin. They're in the mix. But Warrender at the first changeover. 1:01.82, handing off to Kiana Kurtzer. So in safe hands here.
Rosie Heaps follows her sister in 2nd place, and she'll have her work cut out. 14-year-old and some of the slightly older swimmers. Aberdeen Dolphins just got put in over on the far side. And in 6th, the City of Glasgow team with Heidi Wren. Heidi Wren coming through very strongly to try and maintain at least 2nd place. But Warner going pretty well with Kiana Kurtzer, as you'd expect. And they've got a nice person to hand it over to Katie Rose, who will, I'm sure, consolidate that. Heidi Wren going pretty well still, and she'll pass over to Freya Beaton.
So the question is, can anybody mount a challenge on Warrender in the second half? They're around about 3-4 meters clear at the halfway point. 2:01.69, about 5 seconds faster than the first heat. In for the 3rd leg, Katie Rose, as you said, Robert, up against City of Glasgow's Freya Beaton. Not far behind them for Hearts, it's Alice Mackey. Up on the top of your screen, Kirsty Breakin going for Aberdeen Dolphin, and South Lanarkshire in the mix, Kirsty Gilmore. And these are all really vying for the minor medals, with Warrender quite a margin in front. City of Glasgow coming under a bit of pressure now. You can see on the right of your screen from the white caps of Heart of Midlothian. So good leg from Alice Mackey for them. And get Hearts onto the podium. It's starting to look like it's a contest for silver between City of Glasgow and Hearts, with Warrender clear of them. Final swimmer goes, and it is Ashley Drake.
100th in it, Orla McInnes, 15-year-old, Stella McCarthy, a year older. Will that extra year have the advantage for City of Glasgow? Orla McInnes will give it everything down the final stretch to try and bring the Hearts home in second. But Warren Dutt well clear with Ashley Drake. And they desperately need the points for the team's championship point of view. Of course, double points in this one. And Warren Dutt, Hearts still with Orla McInnes. And Orla still managing to just hold off the challenge. And if anything, she's pulling away. It's an Edinburgh 1-2 with Warner and Hearts, with City of Glasgow in third. And this has been a very good swim from Orla McInnes to maintain at least second. Well done to Warren Dutt. Ashley Drake brings them home very well indeed. 4:04.55 inside their entry time. Hart and Midlothian also well inside their entry time. 4:07.72. And the City of Glasgow A team also well inside their entry time. 4:08.59. So plenty of adrenaline in those swims from the teams. Well done to Warner, Hearts and City of Glasgow.
Yep, and they're all faster than the first heat, so the subject to confirmation will be our 14 to 16 year girl 4x100 freestyle medalist, and there is confirmation, so we'll be seeing those teams up on the podium shortly. That's what we've got left. We've got a number of presentations. Of course, there's 1500 freestyle will be the first of them. So they will be up the 3 different age groups. Now, and following that, we'll have the 17 over relays, and then the ones we've just seen, the 14 to 16s. So there'll be a little bit of time, I would think, while they get themselves sorted for those presentations. What's been your thoughts about this morning, Robert?
Very interesting 1500. I thought John Taylor just fighting back to get that second place. Well, this is what the distance freestyle is all about. It's not about necessarily getting the time. John Taylor was about 16 seconds slower than his entry time, and Angus Johnson, conversely, was about 15 seconds faster. But that was a good race to have. Also, Luke Hornsey looked pretty good in that one as well. Going back to the earlier heats, Andrew Bertoli looked very, very comfortable in the 200 backstroke. I look forward to seeing him this evening. Lucas Brown and Callum Peebles. That will be an interesting contest. First one up this evening.
Yeah, the 50 frees were pretty electric, weren't they? There were some very fast times from both the boys and the girls, and I think there's going to be an interesting race, particularly in that, maybe in that 16 age group. Stefan Kravis and Lucas Brown. I'm looking forward to that one. So that's going to be good. And in the girls, Drew McKenzie and Kira Steriker, I think, are going to be very well matched. There was only, what, 700s between those two in the heats. Catriona Stewart won't be too far back either.
Yeah, she did. She performed very well. The City Glasgow swim-up.
The 100 breaststroke 17-18s will be interesting as well. Matthew Garrity showing some form in that one over the two Warrender boys, Emil Moraski and Michael van Blurk, who are always very closely contesting their races, but probably you'd fancy Matthew in that one.
I certainly would fancy Matthew quite strongly in that one.
And some great relays there at the end to cap us off of a good Glasgow performance in the 17 and overs.
Also looking forward to seeing maybe a Montefiore gold medal tonight with Liam Gordinsky. He was, I think, the fastest qualifier in that one. So for all the people up in Montefiore, please tune in later on this evening when we are with you. So presentations, Duncan.
Yep, so we've got our medalists for the 1500 freestyle up to the podium area. There they all are. And the bronze medalists in the 15 age group, Thomas Traynor of South Lanarkshire. Ben McLaughlin of Geary in the 16-year-old age group. And in the 17-18 age group, the one you were just talking about, Robert Angus Johnson, City of Glasgow, just pipped by John Taylor for the silver. Lisa Houston doing the medal presentations for us. The silver medalists, another Geary swimmer, James Boddy. They breed them tough up in Inverurie. In the 16-year-old age group, Scott Fleming of South Lanarkshire. And the 17-18 silver medalist, John Taylor. So that gutsy swim at the end there, just to get himself back past Angus Johnson. So national age group champions, Kai Connolly getting an ecstatic reception from the crowd.
He's tiny, isn't he, Duncan?
Yeah, but tiny, but a powerhouse. Yeah. Luke Hornsey of East Lothian, second freestyle gold for him. And several golds now for Andrew Bertoli. I think this might be number 4. For the City of Glasgow in the 17-18 age group. And that was a masterful swim from Andrew. There was never any doubt that he was going to win it by a margin. It was him against the clock, and he won.
He did indeed. Almost negative split. Just had to come back that little bit faster, but nevertheless, we'll have him tonight on 200 backstroke.
Yeah, he's given himself a busy schedule in these championships, straight off the back of the British, so well done to him.
It's actually quite refreshing to see that for an older swimmer, you know, 17, 18, to do a good mix. Normally they're, by that age, they're sort of specialising into 2 or 3 swims and that's it.
So the 17 and overs now. And it's Alison Lowe, head coach at Aberdeen and former national president, making these presentations. The bronze medal going to Warren de Bath, Anna Green, Sophie Hall, Natasha Simpson and Olivia Mason. Silver medalists, City of Glasgow 18. Katie Shanahan, Anna Williamson, Jory Horn and Drew Mackenzie.
I find it astounding to think that Katie Shanahan's in the senior events now.
Yep, not a wee girl anymore.
Yeah.
National champion at 200 back and 400 individual medley. Earned herself Commonwealth Games nomination times in both those events. So hopefully she'll be in Birmingham. And the gold medalists and national age group champions, University of Aberdeen performance team. And the team, Yasmin Perry, Emily Grant, Gaia Alcaraz and Yvonne Brown. So their time 3:54.94. City Glasgow's 3:56.68. We're hoping that those times will get them into the British. Oh, what is going on now? It certainly amuses Yvonne. It just looked like they were doing the can-can for a moment.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure whether that was a bargain hunt or not, Duncan. You're not been watching too much daytime television. Yeah, well, I'm stuck at home due to COVID. Yeah, bargain hunts on at lunchtime. So, yeah. Either that, they're doing the old leg up with tiger feet from mud, which you'll remember from our era, Duncan.
I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about getting the leg up.
Yeah,
but, yeah, let's move on. The 14 to 16-year-old medalists then, City of Glasgow 18 take the bronze medal with Safrina Machin, Heidi Wren, Freya Beaton and Stella McCarty. Arta Midlothian, a good silver medal for them. That will help them in their positions in the rankings. Team Lucy Atherton, Layla Weatherspoon, Alice Mackey and Orla McInnes. national age group champions, Warren DeBarth, 18. And they have Phoebe Arbuckle, Kiana Kurtzer, Katie Rose, and Ashley Drake. So that's our last piece of business.
That was a nice swim they had, the Wonder team, in that last relay.
Yes, it was. All four very consistent. Never really in doubt that they were going to take it. It was a good race for second, wasn't it? And then Orla McInnes just doing the business on the anchor leg to give it to Hearts. So that's us for
that's it for the morning. Yeah, thanks for joining us. So from Duncan, myself, Robert Taylor, thanks for being with us. We're back for the afternoon session, which I think gets underway around 1:45. We'll hopefully be with us just a few minutes beforehand. So from Tollcross, from Duncan, myself, goodbye.